Uh, yeah, I got the light. Just come on up.
Did you see me?
Oh, yeah, I saw you drive there. Just drop the food off there.
I need to know what house. I still can't find it.
It's 306 Fogel Drive here.
I think I'm on Fogle.
Yeah, just stop right there. I just see you right there.
Oh,
Okay.
you can see me? Okay, thank you.
Yep, just drop the stuff off. I got the. You see the porch light, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
This
Just.
is 316 though.
Excuse me.
The number on the house is 316.
It's 306. It's on the trailer.
It says 316, so I was confused.
Okay, you do see that. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna come on out there. Hold on.
Okay, yeah, please. Oh, okay.
All right, we good. You see me? All right. Yeah, drop the shit off there. Yeah. I'll be right back, folks. Hold on. May as well leave this goddamn thing on. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Folks, as I posted, she obviously doesn't know how to read fucking numbers. God. Kept trying to tell her it says 306. It don't say 316. Getting a 0 mixed up with a 1. What are they teaching in schools these days? God damn. So, folks, if you want to know what happened, that was Walmart delivery. They're a little bit late. The great one does not want to pay an extra $5 for express. On the other hand, I did order a little bit late, too. The purpose of weekend ordering for groceries is to keep from spending money eating out. Eating out is very expensive. So, the great one is very frugal as far as the money is concerned. So, let me make sure I got all my stuff. All right. Yeah, that looks like everything. In any event, let's continue the music. So, folks, welcome to a very interesting start to the Midnight Run. And once again, it's me. It's the VINCE, and I hope everybody's doing all right tonight. This is not raisin and nut. This is fucking almond. Hold on a minute. Pugman, what's up, dog? I'm trying to catch up all the messages. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit discombobulated with that whole situation. They delivered that stuff just right around the time that I was starting my show. Maybe I should have spent the extra $5. Nah. I'm not going to spend an extra $5, folks. Besides, that made for a minute intro anyway. I've been streaming late lately. Over the time. That is good. I always like having a little bit of chocolate before I start the shows. Give me a little bit of energy. And usually I have raisin and nut. But I guess they're out. Get a big old Cadbury. I'll eat half of that. And then I'll rock the house all night, folks. So if you're wanting the key to my energy, I don't use a pre-workout drink. I mean, pre-workout drinks are just full of sugar. May as well have a fucking candy bar. Candy bar! Candy bar. But folks, tonight, got my coffee with a little bit of Gentleman Jack, Richard Overton style. Last Diet Pepsi, I had to take this out because I got my delivery. I had to put the box in there. So I'm going to have a little bit of that. And then, of course, a good cup. Given me by my good friend Pugman. Y'all be sure to thank Pugman. And, of course, The center of attention, as always, for the midnight run, a nice hand-rolled Nicaraguan cigar. But yeah, when it comes to the show, you never know what fucking happens, folks. And that, yeah, I realize that happened. Hold on just a minute. I gotta do one more thing. All right. Yep, Diet Coke. I mean, with all that sugar in the candy bar itself. Yeah, I'm beginning to love Taban. Taban is all right in the Great Ones book. But let's get a little bit of music playing.
I might not make the whole run. Gracias, hombre puck.
Quick Pump with a $2 donation. That's card all right. You always been looking out for, brother. I definitely appreciate that. And that's why we always keep that's why there's always replays for all the action. Plus, I do my shorts. So, folks, if you miss out parts of the show and you don't want to watch 3 hours worth, that's why I do the shorts for. I know there's just been so much stuff from Tefano to jerk off to. I mean, I swear. And this stuff about Bravo and Wes Watson. I'm telling you, folks, we are living in an era of awesomeness. I know. I was supposed to get some. I need to stop putting off getting a new lighter. I really do. The only thing I got now is my tobacco lighter. My pipe tobacco lighter. But folks, get your questions in. If you wish to make a donation, you can. Be sure to smash the like button. I don't know why he puts that content out for KCB. It's just embarrassing. I swear he's gonna go find Taban one day. He's gonna go get him. He kind of scares me a little bit. Yeah, he put out 4 new ones here. Most of them are just eating food and shit. Well, let's go ahead and check out this one, get some early mints in.
Yeah, these secret society gang stalkers are doing some really sketchy stuff. And this is the second time. It's weird, both of their names were Asian. First time customer starts harassing me, trying to get a refund for this chuck roast. No USDA establishment code, lot number, or packed on date. Like, can you make it any more obvious that you work for the USDA and that you're trying to order meat from me to incriminate me? And he said he reported me to FSIS. I mean, if this is not harassing a small business, I don't know what is. It's comical they still haven't given me food stamps, yet allowed me to accept food. USDA, same organization that has denied me able to accept food stamps, yet you could use your EBT at McDonald's. This is what they do to legitimate small businesses. If you are not in the Illuminati, Freemason, sellout corporate shill, the USDA does not want you in business.
You know, it's stuff like that that makes me just want to jerk off. I mean, really. You know, folks, here's the thing. Why are you guys surprised at Britney Spears' behavior for? I mean, seriously. Why are you guys surprised at Britney Spears' behavior? She's from fucking Mississippi, for crying out loud. It doesn't matter how good she looks. It doesn't matter if her pussy smells like cinnamon buns. She's from Mississippi. You understand? She's from Macomb, Mississippi. Now, I'm from the South, but I ain't that South. You can't get no more South than Macomb, Mississippi. Let's look up Macomb, Mississippi. Let me show you how South that is. It's right there, folks. Let me pull up the map. You see that little square right there? That's Macomb, Mississippi, right there. Right chair. If it was any lower, it'd be right chair. This is Macomb, Mississippi. All right? Remember, the higher population of Negroes, the more deep south you are. That's just their southern stuff acting up there, KCB. That's all that is. She is supposed to act like that. I mean, really. I mean, so when you see someone acting like that, always make sure you find out where that person comes from, and that pretty much explains the type of behavior. Period. Non-negotiable. Well, KCB, Frank's business has always been weird. I mean, I'm sure he has a bunch of accounts with restaurants to ship meat to. But some of his stuff is just fishy, especially the location that he's in. He did a live. Yeah, he did the medical malpractice awareness. Let's see what we got here.
How are you, ladies? Would you like to answer a question for YouTube?
Sorry, no, thank
No?
you.
I need those
If I move down back to this Forsaken City. All right, miss. Would you like to answer a question for YouTube?
Sorry.
You don't have to be on camera. I'll just ask you the question.
Sorry, I was waiting for you.
No, it's okay. Miss, would you like to answer a question for YouTube? You don't have to be on camera. I can just ask the question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So if someone was going to give you an amount of money, but you had to be ugly, how much money would it have to be?
100 million.
100 million? 100 million. No less. So that nice old lady wanted her, she's not old, but nice middle-aged lady, she wants 100 million.
Get his number.
No, that's a lot of Greek guys are contractors, and they're not that expensive.
Who's filming him? He's not holding up a camera. Who's filming him? I just heard someone's voice.
I mean, every contract in New York is expensive, but the Greek guys tend to be like not as expensive because they don't like pull permits. They don't do anything legit. It's not like they'll do it without pulling permits and stuff, which is half the battle. Excuse me, miss. Did you want to answer a quick question for YouTube? You don't have to be on camera. I could just ask the question.
It's okay. I'm just
Sure.
gonna hurry.
Okay, sure.
All right.
All right, sir. Did you want to answer a quick question for YouTube? You don't have to be on camera. I could just ask the question.
Thank you.
Sure.
I'll let it
You got
run
camera
for a
anyway?
little bit there, KCB. But this is my Q&A time.
Excuse me, miss. Did you want to answer a quick question for YouTube? No. Okay. Who's the next one? Next one. How are you, sir? Did you want to answer a quick question for YouTube? You don't have to be on camera. I'll just ask the question. Okay. How are you, sir? Did you want to answer a quick question for YouTube? You don't have to be on camera. I'll just ask the question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sure. So, if someone was going to give you any amount of money, right, but you had to be uglier, how much money would it be?
How much money?
So you're going to be ugly, but I'll give you a check for any amount of money you want. But you're going to be ugly. How much would that be?
Let's make it for 1 billion.
A billion. No less. You wouldn't take like $1 million. It'd have to be more.
Of course. Well,
All right, we may play a little bit more of that later on, but you know, this is Q&A time, my friend, so at least I will grant the fact that at least Frank is asking permission to ask questions. Unlike Sean G, he just shoves a freaking camera in his face. Mintnator, what's up? Still doing the Lord's work on Cuban? Well, it's probably because he's been in the sun, KCB. I mean, he's probably been in the sun. I mean, here's the thing, folks. If you don't get enough sun and don't go out too often in the sunlight, your face does that. It'll do things like that. That's why it's always important, folks. Get some freaking sunlight every once in a while. Don't stay holed up in your freaking room. Yeah, we're gonna check that out. I heard about Trans West Watson is becoming one of my favorite peoples. It really is. But as far as my hiatus from pounding tans, it's going great. I'm able to get a lot more work done, folks. I just don't, I mean, it's nice. Every once in a while, folks, you gotta do you. You know what I mean? And I was pounding tans for the purpose of Soul Pole Saturday. And then I realized, I mean, folks, I can pound cheeks anytime I want. I can close up this live stream, and in 30 minutes, I can have a hot, fresh piece of ass. No joke, folks. Now, it ain't gonna be a 10. It may be a 6 or 7, but ass is ass. All right? Just turn out the light like Nelly Furtado. Boy, my channel would go ham. I mean, he goes on about this secret society and the Illuminati. If you disagree or get on Frank Tufano's bad side, you're a member of the Illuminati. And folks, I'm going to say this one last time. There is no Illuminati. Now, there is a wealthy society where wealthy people hang out with wealthy people. That's about it. But that's not a secret society. It's just rich people hanging out with their own. Okay, Ryan. Why, Ryan? On the mic, keeping the haters out of the channel. Chuck E. Cheese, what's up, man? They let you out of jail? You know, folks, you know the year is minty as F when you see Chuck E. Cheese get arrested. I'm telling you, folks, Chuck E. Cheese getting arrested is gonna be the highlight of this year. That is how fucked up this year is. Oh no. Alright, we'll play it. Let's see what Cuban has to say about me.
When he died, stop the tape. Oh, Megatron, is he still making videos? Melvin? Yeah, Melvin's active. I want that to get back to Melvin. One of the elite trolls, one of the Purple Heart veteran trolls asked, Melvin's still active?
Why is he wearing that stupid wig for?
When he died.
Why is he wearing that for? Yeah, it looks like looks like business is picking up, folks.
I got herpes when I was 18. I wanted to bring that up. I've never told anybody that.
Now James is coming with it.
So I had to bring that to the table.
Okay, now it just got unhinged as a motherfucker. Hey, it
You know, herpes is permanent. It just comes back. You can't get rid of herpes.
happens. It's a gift that keeps on giving. Yeah. Hey,
True.
yeah, dude. How does it feel to get rid of something like? Imagine someone walking around with like HIV or something. Imagine someone knowing they got Imagine some of my boys growing up who had herpes, and they would come introduce me to their new chick. They'd be like, "Hey Wes, here's my new chick," and I'm like, "Bro, like, does she know?" I want to be like, that's kind of.
I mean, he is somewhat right. I was trolling news groups back in the 90s, folks. So, I mean, I've been on the internet for over 30 years, folks. So Cuban is right. I've been trolling for a very long time. And you can ask Dave Palumbo. You can ask Ron Harris. You can ask anyone at the expo, and they'll tell you I've been around a very long time. You can ask Ron from Get Big. And the thing about it is, folks, it's not purpose. It's just that, you know. It is what it is, folks. I mean, really. I have just been around a long time, folks. I mean, literally speaking. And I've had beefs with people for a long. I mean, like I said, remember the John Romano beef started by writing letters to each other. Letters. Do you know what a letter is, right? Can you imagine writing something to someone and having to wait 6 weeks for a response? Because John Romano wasn't really on the internet at that time, and the internet was kind of fuzzy, you know, and stuff.
But hey, sometimes if you're doing meth, you get a little freaky.
That's true. That's true.
Well, Big James, you're a fucking savage, bro. I didn't know. No one has as much balls as James. But James is living a second lease on life now. He got rid of the meth. Now he got this weight off his shoulders. Now he needs, what is it, Valtrex or something. But it's whatever. I don't know what it's called. What is it? But Big James, thank you, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
As you guys share the shit that you don't want to share. Get some freedom. James just gave everybody the freedom to get rid of the weight on their shoulders. Adrian, what's up, bro? You guys don't really have to. If it's going to make you very uncomfortable, then don't kill yourself today. But start fucking sharing on your page. Start sharing wherever the shit you wouldn't want to fucking say. Like I've done it since day one. But hey.
I mean, the earliest actual troll there that I've did social media wise is I made an audio recording of me trashing the Big Thinker. He was a person on Muscle Mayhem back in the late 90s, 2000. And folks, let me tell you something right now. Doing something in audio, it took about maybe 17 minutes to load up by dial-up modem for someone to actually find out what I said for a period of 20 seconds. That's how hard I was trolling. You had to wait 20 minutes to hear what I said, hear 20 seconds of me trolling back then. That's boss. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret, folks. I got my first computer from tossing salads. That's how I paid for my first computer with internet. By tossing salads. I kid you not, folks. I'm not joking, folks. I am not joking at all. In order for me to pay for my first computer, I was tossing salads, folks. Yeah, dial-up modem. I told you, man. And you see, folks, when I say I was tossing salads up at freaking Wendy's in 1990. This is 1993 right here. God, I'm a gorgeous animal. Can you imagine this guy here? This person at this time was on the internet trolling news groups and other websites and stuff. Now, folks, I will tell you this right now. When I first started on the internet, there was maybe 20 websites that were active. I want you to listen again. 20 websites, folks. That's all there was. The reason being, it's because everyone was on bulletin board systems and were on news groups. Yeah, folks, that's me. Just tossing salads. Did you guys know that Wendy's used to have a garden buffet? They used to have tacos. I used to fix the tacos, cook the meat. I made the spaghetti with the meatballs. You know, heck, my meatballs was better than your meatballs. You know, I made better Italian food than Frank Tufano. And man, folks, if you think running a salad bar is easy, you know I had to chop up all the vegetables for all those hungry ass white folks. You know, no black folks wasn't eating at no salad bar. They was eating all. You know, sometimes they come in and ask where the fried chicken is. I'm like, really? Do you want to be a stereotype? Bojangles is across the street next door, you dipshit. You see, there was Wendy's, and then there was Bojangles now, and then there was Krispy Kreme. So, folks, on Patton Avenue, my brother and my mama worked at Krispy Kreme Donuts. I worked next door at Wendy's. Now, my mom wouldn't... Here's the thing, folks. My mom wouldn't allow me to get a job at Krispy Kreme because she didn't think I was good at customer service. So I had to go get my own job. So I worked at Wendy's for 4 months. The manager was a perv. I got out of that job, and I moved directly across the street from Krispy Kreme to Taco Bell. All right? That's where I spent the next 4 years. But man, I will tell you this right now. There was no internet. There was bulletin board systems, folks. And that's where I met my friend Ron Abaddon. He ran GetBig.com. And then there was Paul Becker, who ran the Truly Huge site. But he is right. I've been trolling for a while, folks. Or I've been on the internet a very long time. I predate the internet, literally, in terms of bodybuilding myths. Do you guys know that I actually trolled... the only bodybuilders that were really on the internet was the people from Muscle Media 2000. You remember Dan Duchesne, Mr. X, Grindle, TC Luma, and stuff like that from Biotest? I mean, we were all big on the alt bodybuilding site. And one time, and here's what I said. I said that I told Dan Duchesne one day that he looked like Balky from Perfect Strangers. The minute I said that, the great one realized that I made a mistake. Dan Duchesne literally tore me a new asshole. I mean, he called me, he said things that I didn't even know. First off, folks, I didn't know what a spider monkey was until Dan Duchesne called me one. That's just for starters. I had to go look it up there. And folks, there was no internet at the time to where you could look up stuff. I had to go break out the Encyclopedia Britannica, folks. All right? Books. So I opened up my Encyclopedia Britannica, and I found out what a spider monkey. I'm like, he called me a spider monkey? See, that's the most mintiest part of things, folks. Back in the 90s, things that you would normally just look up, basically, you just had to have books and stuff. Did Taco Bell send the ground beef to you in huge cans? No, they came in bags. Now, as far as vegetables, lettuce, tomatoes, and stuff, you had to chop all that up yourself, all right? Knives and a slicer and stuff like that. It didn't come pre-packaged. The way the meat was made at Taco Bell is they came in bags. You threw them in a pot of boiling water. I also had to fry up the taco salad shells. Now, tacos came packaged, but you had to heat them up. Otherwise, they're going to taste like garbage. But Dan Duchesne called me a spider monkey. He really hurt my feelings. He said a whole bunch of other stuff I don't remember. The funny thing is, he tore me to pieces and didn't say anything racist. And TC Luma up there laughing at me, and Grindle and Ron and stuff like that, and Becker. And I just had to skulk away, tail between my legs and stuff. I miss Dan. Of course, he also told me to go take some steroids and come back to me when you spiked up a bit. So I take it he didn't do the dance of joy? No. Probably not. But folks, get your questions in while the great one goes over some classic stories of mints. Like I said, folks, before there was piss troopers, there were get biggers. We are your ancestors. Just call ourselves, that's why I call myself a piss trooper, because I'm an ancestral piss trooper, is what I would consider it. Nah, I mean. I will tell you right now, KCB, Blackman did not even get a hold of the internet or website until maybe like 2005. And I remember Dave Palumbo telling me, like, he went, you know, he had that deep voice. Why won't Blackman get on the internet for? You know? Now, folks, you got to understand that back in the day before pre-internet, you know, if you wanted to meet someone and chat with them mostly face-to-face, you had to go to a bodybuilding show. You had to go to an expo. So, yes, I've met a lot of bodybuilders in my time simply because that's the only way you could meet bodybuilders. But my best moment I ever had is this here. And I've never told this before, I don't think. I was at an expo one time, and I saw John Cena walking my direction. Now, I didn't want to come up to him like a fanboy or something like that asking for his autograph, so I played it cool. I walked by him, said, "What's up, John?" And you know what he said? "What's up, Vince?" And I turn around, I'm like, he knows me? Obviously, he was surfing Get Big back then. I want y'all to think about that. Dale, I want you to think about that. What do you think, Dale? What do you think about John Cena knowing who the great one is? But that's one of the reasons why muscular development failed, because they hopped on this internet so late, and Blackman being a cheapskate, he just didn't do anything, just literally speaking. To the point to where I think Palumbo and Romano getting fired from MD was probably the best thing that happened, because they then started up the RX Muscle site and really got things going in the forums and stuff. I mean, RX Muscle is still around. I just don't surf them that much. But the website itself, folks, the design is so freaking old. Literally speaking, it's not, you think this is WordPress, but it really isn't. And Dave has had that Juice Plus MLM company ever since I've known him. He's been selling this stuff for like 30 years, folks. I kid you not. This is one of the products that Dave loves. You'll always see that. Let's see what the forum looks like. This here is the RX Muscle forum, and obviously it's just dying at this point. Or better yet, it's just dead. Yeah, this is pretty bad. I think this time they took down that forum thing. Is Cuban streaming live or something? Why does he always stream on my time whenever I'm coming in? No, I wasn't friends with Cena. I guess he had just, he recognized me from Get Big. That's the only thing. Because folks, I mean, if he didn't know me, he wouldn't have called me by my nickname. So what I'm thinking is that John Cena was a lurker on Get Big and was actually posting but didn't go by his name. And there's a lot of lurkers. There was a lot of lurkers back then, just a lot of famous people that were going on these forums there. I don't know why he does that stuff for. But I'm like, whatever, knock yourself out. But with the way he's banning people, I mean, it's not going to have much left. He's not going to have much of an audience. Folks, here's the thing about Tylenol. Alright? For 70 years, Tylenol, ever since the 40s and 50s, Tylenol has always recommended that women that are pregnant should not use Tylenol. Autism predates Tylenol, folks. Y'all understand? Before Tylenol was ever invented, autism was around. So there is no correlation, if anything, but in any event, it's moot because Tylenol clearly tells people, hey, don't use my product while you're pregnant, while you're pregos. It looks like he's no. Oh, he is live. There he is, Wolfman Jack. Playing crappy music as usual. I've been wondering where Scatman is at. Well, everyone's got to be somewhere these days. Yeah, I got it right here. Let me turn off this RX muscle disaster.
As I am, you know, and obviously as bad as I want to win and all that other confident bullshit, it's just going to be a very emotional time to put foot back on the big stage again.
Dang, even my cousin just started up.
No disrespect. I think he's suffering from brain fog.
I'll probably shed a tear or two.
I would too.
It's just like,
you want to donate some eyebrow?
Man, everyone seems to be streaming tonight on the Great One's time. Man. But folks, get your questions in. Ryan, we will tune back into Vegan Gains another day. I mean, but it doesn't make sense, Chuck E. Cheese. Ever since Tylenol came out, they said not to take it. They've already told women not to take it whenever they're pregnant. It says clearly on the label, do not take if pregnant. And it's not something recent. It's pretty much been on all of the labels. See, the people that made Tylenol, they already knew in the 50s that it would affect pregnancies. But I will tell you this right now, folks. There's a reason why RFK is doing this. And I think there's something, and I've said this before, folks. When something doesn't make sense, you find the monetary reason why they're doing it. So what I'm guessing is there's probably some sort of product that RFK is going to recommend going forward that he has his meat hooks in. That is true, Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, me personally, I don't take Tylenol. I don't take acetaminophen. I will either take Advil or Goodies powder or aspirin. Oh, I don't take Naprox. No, I don't take that stuff, KCB. Yeah, that'll tear your asshole apart. Actually, it makes me break out in hives, in fact. Such nastiness. I stay away. I stay away from. I don't use Aleve. And folks, I always use generic stuff. I don't use brand name stuff. I mean, you don't need to use a brand name. This stuff's been around for so long; it's easy to make. So why spend extra on the name for? Like I said, I haven't been cracking any tans lately. Like I said, I'm just taking a break from it. But I mean, what's so special about Cuban's live streams anyway? He doesn't review videos. He just talks and yells.
I felt like a peasant.
He needs to do something else other than that. I mean, but on the other hand, you know, my early on live streams, all I would do is talk, but at least I had something interesting to talk about, you know? And I would sit back and give advice, roid advice, go over the past days of bodybuilding throughout history. I mean, I guess that's one advantage. You know, when you got over 30 years of going to expos, working in the fitness industry, you run into some real interesting things. Cuban, on the other hand, he has nothing really to talk about except wastewater management. I mean, he can't really discuss politics very well. He's not involved in that too much. Sorry. No tortilla. See, the purpose of actually having a live stream where you just talk only is you got to have something interesting to say. You have to have a niche. Who wants to take political advice from Wolfman Jack? He can't talk about bodybuilding, obviously. He's never competed. He's never gone to the expos. I saw one of his powerlifting videos. Let me show you this crap, folks. Now, guys, this is how not to lift. Someone sent this to me via Instagram. I could sure use a gram right now. Where is it at? Yeah, it went somewhere. I guess it got removed or something. Who's worse, Dubs or Cuban? Oh, Dubs is a lot worse. Dubs is just a piece of trash. Just straight up trash. It's amazing how someone like that can actually exist in life. At least with Cuban, yes, that is true. And is this it? No, this ain't it.
Not counting gang violence. Great.
Why did someone send me this crap for? I don't need to see this. I've had my piece with Charlie Kirk. It's a good thing I didn't play this on my channel. I would have to stop it. Yeah, all he does is rage. He doesn't have a show or anything. Someone sent me a video on Instagram of Charlie Kirk being shot, and folks, this is why I only play videos directly from YouTube. I don't play anything. I have to be really careful when I access something outside of YouTube. Yeah. Alright, that's the end of the cigar, folks. Just remember, twist, not jab. I mean, it's a horrible clip. I mean, you guys knew how I felt about Charlie Kirk and everything, but it's a pretty bad way to... I mean, at least it was super quick because he was He was basically dead immediately. He's up there talking to someone. Next thing you know, he's waking up in heaven or wherever. Or as Kash Patel says, Valhalla. Why in the world would he want to go to Valhalla for? Vikings eat meat and they eat beef. I mean, I'm sorry, but they ain't got no goat or curry up there in Valhalla. Why would they allow Cash into Valhalla? Do you know how dorky that is? It's no different than Cuban playing Erica. Heritage-wise, folks, they don't... I mean, I don't think they allow black people in Valhalla anyway. How in the world can Kash Patel get into Valhalla? You're a goddamn Indian. Alright? Not feather, feather, dot, dot. Alright? But let's get started with the videos. He just got fucked up pretty bad. Really nasty business we have these days, folks. Really nasty business. Getting shot with a World War II German gun, too, on top of that.
Hey, what's going on, people? I just want to come at you with a little bit of a raw, kind of talking style video, like my old...
He's pretty cute. I'd fuck him. But anyway.
Old stuff, because it feels like I really haven't been able to get...
I've pounded cheeks. I pounded a guy that looked sort of like him before.
As real with my viewers about shit in a little while. There's no chat to interrupt me. I'm just sitting in the car.
I mean, if Kash Patel was up in Valhalla, what would he eat there, Chuck E. Cheese? Vikings sitting around eating beef steaks and everything like that. Here's Kash Patel like, sorry, I do not eat beef. Do you have some beans? Do you have curry?
Kind of explaining.
There's also no quickie marks in Valhalla neither. And I mean, there's no KFCs neither in Valhalla, so no black people neither.
A little bit about my philosophy on the black pill, because that's really important, is the why. Why are you doing these things? Why are you risking your health with anabolics? Why are you, dumping, all this money that you have into peptides and nootropics and this and that and taking this risk and having this surgery planned? So that really needs to be explained and addressed, because I see a lot of craziness going around on the internet, right? It's like, wouldn't you rather just give something your fucking all in life? Okay, so when people come on and they say, oh, Clav, you're insane for getting surgery. You're insane for doing these anabolics. Well, at least in 5 years, whether I am a Frank Tufano botch job or the next Giga Chad, at least I could say that I gave something my all. While you sit there and type your comment on my Instagram reel from your shitty wage job, at least I tried. At least I dedicated myself to the craft and was willing to do whatever it takes, right? So I really want to make this video before I go ahead and get this double jaw surgery.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Sounds to me like he's going to get some sort of serious surgery of some type there. Man, I would certainly fuck him. But anyway.
Takes, right? So I really want to make this video before I go ahead and get this double jaw surgery, just to say that...
Yeah, I knew he was going to get some sort of double jaw surgery for what?
You guys have never done something hard in your entire life. You've never actually put in a second's effort. Now, I know I'm not the best looking guy, and sure, there's all these looks maxers.
I'd fuck you. What do you mean he's a good looking guy? I'd fuck you. Why do you need jaw surgery for? I mean, if you need some jaw work there, just give Get down on your knees and suck the soul pole.
That look a lot better than me. But what did they actually do? What did they actually accomplish? Because while you were out doing random bullshit in high school, I was sitting there on my computer, dedicating myself, researching the best way to maximize myself. So it's not craziness. It is not anything other than obsession and dedication. So that's what I'm going for here. I'm not going for, the normie bullshit lifestyle where you're sitting in a job that you hate with no girls that even want to look at you. I'm not interested in that. And if that requires a huge risk of, facial
What happened to Tim Scott? He's wiggled in the background, but remember, Ryan, he's a senator. So he already has his hands full. He's a U.S. senator. But, I mean, just like all the Negroes, eventually they disappear. Maybe he's eating watermelon in a patch or something. I don't know.
Disformity from
I really don't care. I'm embarrassed to have Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham, the closet case. I mean, folks, I'll tell you right now, everyone knows Lindsey Graham. When's the last time you've ever heard Lindsey Graham sure is fucking that pussy? Never. When you see Lindsey Graham, there is no masculinity in him whatsoever. None.
a surgery going wrong or some sort of health complications from, blasting anabolics, then so be it. Because the life that people are living in 2025 is absurd. It is egregious. Most people won't even have a girl look their direction for years, for months, right? 2/3 of men 18 to 21 haven't had sex in over a year. All right. This is insanity, right? The top 20% of men on Tinder are getting access to 80% of women. And you're talking about I'm the crazy one for wanting to do double jaw surgery. How about it's crazy how hypergamous women have become and how evil society
He knows the word hypergolus. He's all right.
is, right? And the answer to this is looks. The answer to this is the black pill. We see it all the time on social media. These giga chads coming on. They've got nothing to offer other than their looks. They post a video for 10 seconds. Boom. They're viral. They're famous. Okay? This is the world. This is the way of the world. So you are absolutely insane for not doing everything in your power to ascend. It is on you. You have to do it now because plastic surgery, looks maxing, it is becoming more and more mainstream. And before you know it,
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
every one of your peers
It's just more readily available, but it's not becoming mainstream.
around you is going to surpass you. So you have to start now, not tomorrow, not the next day, now. Start blasting those steroids and stop asking what could happen if I hop on steroids, what could happen if I get that surgery, and ask yourself, what could you miss out on? What kind of love, what kind of salary, what type of every single type of improvement possible in your life could you be missing out on, right? So that's kind of why you just have to
I really want to fuck this guy. I really do.
dedicate yourself fully. It's not a matter of, if, it is a matter of when you want your life to start improving, because there's no question. If you improve your looks, you improve every metric of your life. So it is an imperative that you guys start doing this shit. I'm not the crazy one. You guys are going to look back on me telling you this shit, and 5 years from now, when everyone has double jaw surgery, everyone has full facial implants, mogging you, and you're going to say, wow, that Clav guy, he really was right about this shit. How crazy the world is. As more and more of these dating statistics come out, as more and more of you experience real black pills throughout your interactions in real life, you're going to realize how right I was about this shit. And it's becoming more and more in your face every single day with social media, with hypergamy. So the fact that you guys are, more eager to ascend, more eager to change your lives is shameful. It doesn't make any sense. Okay? You should be on your computer for hours researching, creating yourself a regimen. How can I ascend? What can I do? Not worried about what kind of side effects could I get from this? What could go wrong? How about what could go right? For once in your life, just take your risk and dedicate yourself to something, okay? Because you are going to look back on your worthless, miserable life if you are not attractive and think, wow, I really ruined everything. I really screwed this up by not improving myself, right? So get your ass on a cycle. Get your ass to an imaging center. Get your head scanned. Everything you need to do to LooksMax. Do your research. Do every little thing imaginable to improve your life. And you will start having everything go right for you just immediately, right? You're going to start getting promotions. Girls are going to start coming up to you. But I understand fully that not everyone will have the same. It's not a level playing field, and it never will be. But if you could just start now, you will have that much more of an advantage than anyone else. It doesn't matter where you are, where you're starting. You can still surpass the majority of the population, but it has to be now. Start LooksMaxing, right? Because this shit really, we're watching it unfold right before our eyes. It is becoming more and more mainstream. We've got single moms sitting in their cars, just like I am right now, promoting Ozempic, right? Everyone is about to be 10% body fat with hollow cheeks. You're about to see the biggest reverse in obesity statistics in history that we never thought was possible without the conception of GLP-1s. So enjoy these last 5 to 10 years of slaying while you can with being lean, right? While you have that advantage over other people.
Folks, let me let you in on something. In the 80s and 90s, we had ephedrine and ephedra, and people were getting lean just the same. There was a lot more stuff back in the 80s and 90s that you can do in order to lean out than it is today. And guess what? There's still plenty of Porky Pig looking people back in the 80s and 90s. Even with Ozempic, folks, Ozempic is super expensive. It's not going to be available to everyone. And even with that, there's still going to be people that enjoy being fatties, you know?
Because it's about to go away. The playing field is about to completely change, right? As this stuff becomes more and more widespread, this knowledge of LooksMaxing, this knowledge of aesthetics, right now, the people that are watching this have a very unique opportunity. You have an advantage over a lot of people and you don't even realize it. But that advantage is slowly escaping your grasp, right? You're letting it slip out from your fingers by not...
I mean, folks, when it comes to Ozempic, about 1 out of 5 of my calls, someone's calling at work, people call me about Ozempic or Zepbound, yelling and screaming about getting it. That stuff requires a pre-authorization, so the only other place you can get it is like my cousin from Underground Labs, and it's usually experimental GLPs, or you can go to a compounding facility. But there was a lot more stuff back then than there is now. It's not going to change.
Taking action. So back in 2024, when I was working my ass off, up until earlier this year, at a wage cuck job, you know, working as a server, shit job, shit hours, working 18 hours, all I was thinking to myself was, hey, this... You know, I wasn't thinking how much this sucks, how much I hate my life having to wage slave and all this bullshit. I was thinking, hey, now I'm however much money I made that day closer to fixing my life, to ascending. I wasn't sitting there complaining. I was sitting there imagining what is going to happen after I ascend. And that's exactly how you should be thinking about your life, is when are you going to ascend? What needs to be done to ascend, right? You've got horrible cystic acne and you're sitting there thinking, oh, maybe I do the carnivore diet. No, you need to fix your acne immediately. You need to fix your acne yesterday. You need to get yourself pharmaceutical Accutane. Stop with the copes. Don't tell me that it's going to dry out your lips and make your joints sore. Tell me that you're going to get rid of your acne, okay? I'm tired of these people, you know, fear-mongering, all this shit, when they should be fear-mongering the consequences of not looking good. It is horrible. Kids are getting bullied every...
You know what, folks? I just want to turn him around on that seat and just pound his cheeks like no other. I mean, I'm sorry. I just want to fuck him. I'm sorry if I'm crushing right now or not. I just can't help it. I mean, most of his stuff sounds stupid, but, you know, in any event.
Every day we're seeing more and more videos of kids crying because they're getting bullied in school. Should you tell that kid, oh, he's just going to wait until puberty's over, then his acne will go away? No, you should be telling that kid exactly how to fix his acne yesterday, today. It's ridiculous. The consequences of not looking good will always surpass the side effects or the risk profile of any of the shit that I am talking about. Always. Because I can tell you, when you are not attractive, your life is hell. I've experienced it. I'm sure a lot of people have experienced it that are watching this right now. And then when you start to get a little bit of good looks, everything changes. It's like a switch flips in your life. It's like you're living an entire new, universe. You're living in a new universe overnight if you ascend. So it makes no sense, all this fear-mongering, all this shit, okay? So even if everything goes wrong for me, use me as an example. At least I gave something my all. At least I tried to fix this fucked up situation that is the society in 2025. Because it is crazy out there. You guys know it. You're learning more and more through your real world interactions. Do something about it. Start looks maxing.
Yeah, I'd like to bend him over on that seat cushion and stuff there and pound those little creamy white cheeks of his there, But everything that he's saying is just completely... I just don't get it.
Not really too sure what we're going to hit for this session. I think it's going to be a little poll day. We also got to stock up the fucking walk-in closet because there's more space in here than my bedroom growing up.
I don't know where we're going.
Mick fucking Donalds, let's go.
That's a pretty good following there. I would suspect that he does more on Instagram and TikTok. But in any event, next video. Like I said, folks, there was a lot more stuff you can get your hands on back in the day than there is now. So I just don't get that. But he is cute, though. Doesn't need no surgery. He needs the soap. He just needs to be appreciated. He needs to be rubbed on. Let me rub you the right way. I feel like some Johnny Gill right now, baby. Woo! God, I love AI.
Ici avec toi, avec moi, je suis prête à voler ton cœur.
No, I mean, I would show him the ropes when I shoot ropes all over his face, like, psst. I'd spray that face like a goddamn fire hose.
Je sais que tu as envie de moi. Je sais que tu penses à moi. Tu penses que tu penses à moi. Cela émane de mon âme. Ton glaçon sera arrivé ou bien tout peu dans nous pourrions tomber amoureux. Nous allons tomber si vite si seulement je pouvais vous dire. Si seulement cela pouvait. Moi je veux ton cœur.
He's old enough to take a cock there, Chuck E. Cheese. He's in his 20s from what it looks like.
Je rêve de toi. Tu rêves de moi. Je rêve, tu rêves de moi. Je vais tenter ma chance.
I mean, he was probably born in the year 2000 and everything, but he's old enough to take a cock in his ass, you know. Just keeping it real, telling it to you like it is. And the thing about it is, Chuck E. Cheese, you're right. He is half my age. So, I mean, even though there's absolutely no chance that I'd be pounding his cheeks, you know, we have to keep it minty around here, you know. You know, every once in a while we have to bring a little bit of homosexual content into the midnight run, you know. And I would certainly like to run into those cheeks at midnight or so. Indeed. Alright, yeah, I can give a shout out. Greg Muller, Cheesehead, the great one. Sending a shout out to you, bruh. Peace and soul.
This self-proclaimed religious leader was just arrested by the FBI after allegedly running a nationwide forced labor operation that profited him over $50 million over the course of a decade. And this is all while his victims were working without pay in call centers across 4 states and lived under what federal agents called slave-like conditions.
2 church leaders with ties to Tampa are facing federal
Oh, it's that monkey and that white woman that did that. I heard about this.
charges tonight. They're at the center of what investigators are calling a multi-million-dollar conspiracy involving money laundering, forced labor, and abuse.
But you may be asking, how did we get here?
Why do we call it forced labor for? Let's call it what it is. It's called slavery and stuff, you know. Straight up Kunta Kinte stuff, you know. Toby!
Well, it is quite the wild story, because what started as a small ministry in Michigan ended up turning into one of the most shocking human trafficking cases the FBI has seen in years. And when federal agents conducted raids across multiple states last year, they uncovered a sophisticated operation that for years used religion as a means to manipulate and exploit the vulnerable. And this is not some small
Hey, Shar, how you doing there?
time scam either, but instead a multi-state enterprise with luxury mansions, call centers disguised as prayer lines, and a leader who lived like a king while his followers essentially worked for nothing. So meet David Taylor, a 53-year-old man who referred to himself as an apostle and claimed to be Jesus Christ's best friend. Yeah, that sounds a lot like a cult. And according to federal documents, he told people that God had personally given him the keys to the kingdom on earth. So now, he just sounds even more like a cult leader. And to make things worse, his official church website stated that God had personally taught David about the mysteries of the kingdom of God by the way of face-to-face visitations from the Lord. What mysteries, do you ask? Well, according to him, God gave David the ability to not only cure disease, but also raise people from the dead. Okay, definitely not a red flag at all. Now, this story isn't just about David, but also his right-hand man, 56-year-old Michelle Brannon.
Right-hand man.
Michelle served as the executive director of the organization called Kingdom of God Global Church, formerly known as Joshua Media Ministry International. That just sounds like an MLM, at least the previous name. Michelle, from her gigantic mansion in Tampa, helped David control every aspect of the operation. David started this whole thing in the mid-2000s in Taylor, Michigan, where he established his first call center. What began as a small ministry eventually expanded into this multi-state operation with locations in Florida, Texas, and Missouri. By the time federal agents shut it all down, they were operating 9 separate call centers across 4 different states. And David's organization essentially ran these call centers where they would make cold calls to people across the country, asking for donations for the church. And these workers would tell potential donors that their money would be used for charitable purposes, such as providing water wells for impoverished communities overseas, or supporting victims of human trafficking or slavery. And judging from that house that we saw earlier, I don't think too much of that money went to that. However, these weren't definitely your typical telemarketing jobs, because the workers weren't actually getting paid anything. According to the federal indictment, David convinced people to come work for him full-time as unpaid volunteers. He would then tell them that anyone who defied his orders and commands were defying God and would suffer in hell. And to make things even wilder, some of these workers were called armor bearers, who basically were David's personal servants who had to fulfill his demands around the clock. And the armor bearers, they would have some pretty
Boy, that's a lot of influence there.
Disturbing responsibilities, like transporting women from ministry houses, airports, or any other location.
Hey folks, do you think I should fuck him too? Do you think he's cute? Let me know in the comments below. I really don't think so. He looks like a dirty white boy, but He may stink, but we could wash him.
to David's, and then ensuring that they took plan B after they interacted with David. We're just getting into the story, and somehow it sounds like Surviving R. Kelly already. But these call centers operated every single day, and workers were given some out-of-the-pocket daily, weekly, and monthly, and even yearly monetary goals, like raising $164,000 in a single day. And if they didn't hit those numbers, well, things just got worse for them. The federal investigators said that David and Michelle Brannon controlled particularly every aspect of the workers' lives. The victims slept either at the call center facilities themselves or in what they called ministry houses, and they weren't allowed to leave without permission. Workers were also required to cut off contact with any family or friends who questioned the church's righteousness, and David would demand that any full-time staff give up outside employment entirely and dedicate their lives fully to the ministry. And allegedly, the organization also had a twisted system where they forced workers to apply for government assistance like EBT cards and food stamps by claiming they were homeless. Then the workers had to turn over these benefits to the church staff to buy food for the organization. Dude, that mortgage must have been killer. Sorry, I'm still hung up on the house because bro literally had to have slaves to fund that thing. That's how big it was. And I guess lie that he was raising money to end slavery as he was...
God, I love religion. Religion can be kind of minty sometimes there.
Having slaves fund the thing. I mean, it's crazy. This is wild. It's like he was trying to do the whole like P. Diddy thing without a successful music career or owning the Ciroc vodka brand. I guess he just did all of this off of call centers. But when workers failed to meet their quotas or disobeyed orders, they faced a range of punishments that the prosecutors laid out in detail. These included like public humiliation, food restrictions, sleep deprivation, physical assaults, and something called rebuking.
See, folks, this is another example. Forced labor, physical assaults, that's slavery and beatings, you know. Straight up, I mean, why don't they just call it for what it is? Slavery.
And I had no idea what a rebuke.
Do you have to be picking cotton in order to call it slavery? The black guy was a slave owner. I mean, look, his house about as big as any other plantation house I've seen in the South. And the great one has seen plenty of plantations. If anything, that was a plantation.
So I found out it was essentially a yelling and humiliation and violence ritual, which does not sound too fun at all. This whole situation sounds pretty awful to me. Very not swag. And then to make things worse, when workers weren't performing up to David's standards, he would sometimes have water thrown at them to wake them up, or he would cut down their sleeping hours even shorter. Because obviously that is how you get a sales rep to perform better. I love that he's not only a horrible human being, but he's also just a massive idiot. Because like the dude would also tell workers that they were serving God through their suffering and that questioning him was like the same as questioning divine authority. Come on, dude. Imagine the burden of living with yourself being that much of a piece of shit. I mean, that's probably why he had to distract himself with all the pleasures. But hey, while his workers were living under these like inhumane conditions, David was using these millions of dollars in donations, or I guess, see, the donors thought they were actually donating something good. So this money was then used to fund his incredibly lavish lifestyle. As you clearly saw by that house. Yeah, I'm still stuck on that house. That's a massive crib.
See, that's a plantation, folks. Let me show you again, folks. That is a plantation. That's a plantation house, folks. Forced labor, slaves. Physical assault, that's a whooping.
All by that house. Yeah, I'm still stuck on that house. That's a massive crib. But hey, since 2014, the organization has brought in approximately $50 million through these call centers. And the federal indictment lists some of these like crazy purchases that he did, including what is this? A Mercedes-Benz? It doesn't specify what, but he paid $63,000 for it. So that could be like an older S-Class or like a C63. He has a Bentley Continental here. He has a Crown Line boat. He also has another Bentley Continental. He has a Bentley Mulsanne. He has another Mercedes-Benz and another Mercedes-Benz and another.
Mercedes-Benzes are pretty cheap when you get them used, so that's pretty normal.
Mercedes-Benz. He has 5 ATVs, 2 jet skis, 1 jet ski trailer, and 2 more jet skis and a jet ski trailer, and 125 pounds of super colossal Red King crab legs. I love how that's just like listed in.
You know the niggers love they crab legs, folks.
There with all the whips and boats and stuff.
No problem at all. We keep it good. We keep the music good. We got to start out right with the show, and you can't start a good show without.
Then he has a Rolls
You can't start a good show without music.
Royce Cullinan, of course, and then he has 4 bulletproof automotives here. Okay. Dude, why is he buying so many, like, similar cars? Like, do you really need 4 Mercedes-Benz? Do you need...
When it comes to that, it's not a matter as far as to whether you need. It's all about showing off, folks. It's all, I mean, it's flexing. That's what that is there. Everyone flexes. Flexes a watch, flex a car, flex a house. All that is just flexing. That's it. When you're like that, you can never have enough. You have to have more, always. More cars, more jewelry, more houses, more wealth.
2 Bentley Continental.
I mean, even Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, despite the massive amount of money, they just want more. Elon Musk is about to probably become the first trillionaire. There's never enough money for anyone. It's just flexing.
And why are you buying Bentleys and Rolls? Wait, no, 3. Okay, no, wait. He had 2 Bentley Continentals and a Mulsanne. Why are you buying a Mulsanne, 2 Continentals, and a Rolls Royce? Why don't you switch it up with something like, I don't know, something a little sporty, something a little more fun? Like, the Continental is kind of sporty, but he has 2 of them. I don't know, essentially he just bought a bunch of cars that...
I mean, he has what's called luxury cars, so he doesn't drive sports cars, he buys luxury cars.
Drive like boats. I'm just kind of confused in how he scammed $50 million and somehow does not own a GT3 RS. That's just poor judgment. I say that as a joke because everything here is just incredibly poor judgment. Anyway, David also owned multiple luxury properties, including a massive 28,000 square foot mansion in Tampa. Okay, that explains the size of that thing. That's a behemoth. That's like 10 homes. That's 10 large homes in one home. That's crazy. That's pretty much as outrageous as owning 4 Mercedes-Benzes and 3 Bentleys and a Phantom. He didn't own a Phantom. It was a Cullinan. Still, that's just outrageous. Anyway...
Well, I mean, folks, it's not really outrageous when you think about it. Look at these mega churches and stuff like that. He didn't own it. He was running a ministry. He didn't pay for a church. He just bought a house with a lot of slaves in it there. So, I mean, when you think about things, instead of a super church, he just bought a big giant house.
He bought that mansion for $8 million and it has 10 bedrooms and 10 and a half bathrooms.
Yes, and folks, in the area that he's in, you know, houses are relatively inexpensive for that type of size. You can get a home in that area that's 2,000 square feet, and you could probably get it for $120,000 because it's a area where you can get houses for cheap. You know what they say, they're bigger in Texas. It's about the same way it is.
Bathrooms. So, I guess you can fit a whole bunch of call center workers in that thing. And while neighbors, obviously, they always wondered how a pastor could afford to live in such an expensive home. Good question, by the way. What they didn't know was the Tampa Bay mansion wasn't just a personal residence, but also it was being used as a call center. But I guess it's just a business expense. So see, I mean, if you're paying too much in tax, this simple trick of starting a cult and then having slaves live off of EBT and food stamps, working at a call center in your house could help you depreciate a portion of your house as a business expense. So obviously you can call 1-800-something to...
Well, anyone that repents can go to heaven regardless as to what type of crimes they did, you know, and stuff. So he could still go to heaven.
You guarantee yourself at getting audited like this guy did. Yeah, I digress. But
But if he does go to heaven, I'm sure God will really yell at him a bunch here for a little bit.
Specific victims are now named in this federal indictment, and their stories show just how long some people were trapped in the system. And the timelines are kind of shocking because one victim was allegedly subjected to forced labor for about 10 years, from 2013 all the way till 2023, while another was trapped for 9 years, from 2009 to 2018. That's a long time to be working at a call center in a mansion, especially without pay. But one of the more detailed accounts comes from Bridget Walton, whose son, Patrick, spent 6 years working at David's ministry in Michigan. She said that Patrick was just a college student when he was swept up into the organization after attending one of David's services with his mother in 2015. Patrick was apparently blown away by what Bridget described as David's signs and wonders and his theatrics. Soon, after their first service, Patrick dropped out of college and moved to Michigan to work in the ministry full-time. Bridget immediately had concerns and asked her son if this was a cult, but Patrick's response was to cut off all contact with her entirely. Yeah, that sounds like a cult. And months later, a friend saw Patrick in St. Louis and told Bridget that he and other young followers looked like they were starving. And despite these obvious signs that something was wrong, Patrick stayed in the ministry until 2022. When Patrick finally returned home, he had nothing left. No money, no possessions after 6 years with the ministry. It wasn't until David Taylor's arrest recently that Patrick finally admitted to his mother that everything she had warned him about was true. And another person who spoke out about this was Leslie Portillo, who spent several months.
Well, I mean, the mom's the one that introduced him to this person, so it's just as much her fault as anything.
In the Michigan facility in 2017. She went there because her best friend was a believer in David and his ministry. Not wanting to leave her friend alone, Leslie decided to check it out herself. She described an environment where she spent her time sleeping on floors and experiencing alleged verbal and physical abuse, backing up everything that had been said about the institution. Leslie says that she and her best friend ended up donating about $40,000 to the organization. Her friend stayed with the ministry until she passed away in 2019, and the situation had caused such a rift between them that they were no longer speaking by the end. And one of the most high-profile people to speak out against David was Vicky Yo, a Grammy-nominated gospel singer with over 1.2 million followers on her Facebook page. She was actually in a romantic relationship with David for about 16 months, starting in 2017, where she sang at one of the ministry's services. David would apparently have Vicky promote his book and ministry on her social media accounts, requiring her to post about it every day. And when she didn't comply, apparently it was like the end of the world to this guy.
How would you describe your relationship with Mr. Taylor?
I thought I was in love with him. You know, but when I look back at it, he really just used me because I have like 1.2 million on my Facebook page, my platform. He would have me promote his book. If I didn't promote his book every day, it was like the end of the world. Like, you know, he wanted me to interview people that saw Jesus. So when I look back on it, he used me for my platform. He did not love me. He did not, because it was all about what I can do for him.
After she ended the relationship and published a book herself in 2020 called All You Have Is a Voice, Free from a Hidden Cult, the backlash was immediate.
When I spoke out against this monster, I had so many people saying, you're just a woman scorn. He cheated on you. You got names of a couple women. But I knew it was more than that. I knew it was more than that. And I got criticized. Just people just thought I was crazy.
But then something happened that validated everything Vicky had been talking about. More than 100 women reached out to her, saying they'd also been in relationships with David Taylor, with many of them claiming that he had told them that they were his wife.
And I would say stuff.
I mean, he's like Bobby Brown, humping around and jumping around and stuff.
To David, this ain't right. He said, oh, it's okay. I'm best friends with Jesus. But being a preacher's kid, you know, I knew it was wrong. And so I spoke out, and it's actually still on the internet. It's about 20 minutes, and I just told everybody what was going on. Within 3 weeks, I stopped counting at 100 women that told me that they were in a relationship with David. Many of them said they were his wife. They said that he said to keep it just between them because church people are messy. That's what he told me. Church people are messy, Vicky, and, you know, I'm going to marry you one of these days, but just, you know, don't tell anybody. And so all these women are out there thinking that this man is going to be the one that they're going to marry. Loves them.
And after publishing her book, Vicky says she received life threats from church members and chose to not speak about David ever again. until his arrest finally happened. The investigation into David Taylor and Michelle Brandon's operation involved multiple federal agencies and took years to develop, since a lot of organizations and different people had been trying to expose them for years before law enforcement finally acted. One of the investigators said they knew something was wrong when an organization that was bringing in millions of dollars was getting sued for non-payment to vendors. After all, when you're taking in that kind of money and you're buying mansions and when you buy luxury automobiles, how could you not have the money to pay a vendor? It raised a question, and that was one of the starting points of the search. Then on August 27, 2025, federal agents executed a coordinated nationwide operation for the takedown. David Taylor was arrested at a property in Durham, North Carolina, while Michelle Brandon was taken into custody in the Tampa mansion, simultaneously. And at the same time, different raids were also occurring at the church properties in Houston, Michigan, and Missouri. And what's kind of interesting is, despite all the federal charges and the arrests, the church's prayer line was still active for a while and was being answered by workers even after their leaders were taken into custody. Like when some journalists called the number during the week of the arrest, someone was still picking up on the other end. The case is currently being prosecuted out of the Eastern District of Michigan, where the organization was headquartered, and the legal proceedings are expected to continue there. For the victims, this arrest represents the end of what may describe as a nightmare that lasted years, or even decades. Employment lawyers say if the allegations are proven true, the hundreds of victims could be entitled to substantial damages, including double their lost wages, plus attorney's fees. And as of right now,
good luck with that. The government's going to strip out all the money. You know, they probably won't even have enough money to get a cheese on a Whopper. I wouldn't even try.
Now, federal authorities are encouraging anyone with any information about human trafficking to contact this hotline right here. And obviously, this operates 24 hours a day. And as of now, David and Michelle are facing serious federal charges, including conspiracy to commit forced labor, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. And unfortunately for them, each of these charges carry a max sentence of 20 years in federal prison. So if convicted on all,
which will run concurrently, man, with guidelines, he'll be out in about maybe 12 years or so.
Counts, they could face up to 60 years behind bars and millions of dollars in fines. And since they're in
millions of dollars in fines, but they're not going to do much time. They're not going to do any real time, and it'll be time probably in a minimum security prison.
their 50s, that would essentially be a life sentence. And not only that, but of course, federal prosecutors also said they could be forced to forfeit any funds or property that resulted from their alleged criminal activities. So after years of operating under the radar, David Taylor and Michelle Brandon are finally facing the full weight of federal prosecution for one of the most extensive forced labor operations disguised as a religious ministry in the United States. And it's almost a relief that even after all this time, at least now, the truth has finally come to light and justice can actually be served, even if it took a while. In some cases, it's just better late than ever. At the end of the day, this really goes to show how long people can get away with terrible things when there's no spotlight on them. But stories like this might take some time to unfold, but thankfully the spotlight is now there, so the story is finally being told. Either way, if you want another video like this, you can click here. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.
I don't think he'll feel, no, he's not going to repent or remorse. He'll feel sorry about, you know, getting caught up here. Yeah. Shame, shame, shame.
Things that you just don't talk about, like sex and death.
This guy is so creepy.
Smells so good.
Videos to review, and quite frankly, KCB, we've already got the meat and potatoes out of it anyway, so. Plus, I want to put up some Genova mints, too, so some classic Del Rey Misfit stuff.
Bodybuilding's already a rough sport.
Be right back, folks.
Physically, psychologically, hormonally. How much are you thinking about longevity at the moment and the
so
trade-offs?
That's one thing I'll bring up, because it's like guys will ask me, it's like, are you going to move to open? Are you going to, or it's, can't wait to see you as Mr. Olympia. Like as though that's the track that I'm on. And for me, it's more so, it's like, okay, what am I willing to do that adds to this whole thing with bodybuilding that will take me, a certain degree of distance, right? Because if you're a top level Olympia competitor, that comes with its own things, like it's not as though bodybuilding on a competitive level is, and I might not be the one to say recommend, because I'm not like a complete G of bodybuilding, like a Jay Cutler or like a real commentator or a judge would be, who's been in the sport for years. But it's like, it's not something to be pursued forever. Like actually the bigger I've gotten, the more I've started to be content with the size that I already am, where I used to imagine 300-pound Sam Sulek.
Well, it's about time he's real. He now realizes that he's one huge motherfucker.
I'm like, yeah, once I get to 300, that'll start to be. But it's something where when you actually get to a different position, just over time and like through progress, you're going to have a different perception of like what you actually want. Because even though you may have reached that level from having a certain goal, now you're a completely different person with different circumstances. And as good as that goal may have been to motivate you in the beginning, like sometimes that can change.
Yeah, dude, that's
and
such
it's not a giving up. It's just you've gotten a better perspective, and now you know more to make a better decision.
That's a really fantastic point. That adjusting your goals as you get closer to them, to some people feels like seeding ground. You've already done the hard part. Why are you not applying more pressure and really, really pushing? Yeah. But the same as what you considered to be a good dish.
Looks like WWE just released a whole bunch of people there. Braun Strowman. Well, maybe this is old. Oh, well.
When you were starting out as a chef, will not be what you consider to be a good dish as you become more sophisticated. Yeah. And that dish may be more simple. So you may start out making these really complex things with 500 ingredients, and you think, well, actually, just a good pasta. Like I can just nail a good pasta, and I think that that's pretty sweet. So yeah, the ability to discern good from bad, like taste. Like what's something that's a tasteful goal for me to go towards? What's something that resonates? How do I realize as I get closer to something that maybe the ladder I was climbing was kind of leaning up against the wrong wall a little bit, so I'm just going to adjust it and I'm going to keep climbing over here.
And it's with bodybuilding, at least there's a...
He's not that good of a wrestler there, Chuck E. Cheese. I'll be honest with you. He has the size factor, just not the charisma factor.
Few examples. I mean, actually, I'm sure there's thousands where it's not highlighted on social media, so I wouldn't have any input on when this might happen. But with bodybuilding, it's not something I'd recommend for everyone. Like when I see I'd say its prevalence now, like the idea of I need to be a bodybuilder, or like a younger guy saying I have to be able to get on stage at a certain point. I think it's a bit overinflated in its value, because it's very showy. You only see that like little flashy kind of point at the end. And it's also in a scope of social media where like as much as I'm not trying to overdo it and make myself like look cooler or better, or like portray the crazy lifestyle that I might actually live, like it's still kind of flashy in its presentation. So
what is going on with his face? His face is a little bit pitted
in its presentation.
That's not
so
good.
If you get obsessed with like the idea of something, to actually approach what that real thing is, and now your idea of it is actually going to become a real understanding of it, and you'll realize like, shit, man, I like there's guys where they have gone pro Like they really got into it. They were 100% serious. And then they realized this isn't for me. I'm going to not like backpedal isn't the right word. I'm going to just redirect towards something which I actually value now. And if at any point that would happen, then that's what I would do.
How do you now personally weigh health versus aesthetics? You've got this.
Well, I mean, everybody, there's actual like numerical metrics. You know, everyone's getting their, like, honestly, I think everybody should be getting their blood tested, even just out of curiosity.
That's something you're doing regularly?
Yeah. So that's definitely, like, anybody who's serious about bodybuilding, they're all getting relatively extensive blood tests pretty regularly. And if they're not, then like you are missing out. But what sucks is actually it's, I'm kind of spoiled because my general practitioner will order all my stuff, like a full panel of everything. Whereas a lot of doctors, like I'll hear stories where it's like, you know, can I just get my test leveled? A normal dude. Nah, you're young. You don't have to worry about something like that. And it's, like, I mean, I'm sure you've got your own take on it, but it's just kind of this behind the curve sort of thing. Cause that's something like.
So when you hear people talking like that, folks, I think he's had one of those palpitations or something medically has happened, very minor, that's making him rethink a couple of things.
What if you're a guy where you're straight up hypogonadal and you might be literally whatever value is barely any. That could totally
150s or the 200s or something.
Well, I'm saying like if there was somebody where they were under 100 and it's like you didn't have any control over that, and if your hormones are totally out of whack, then that would be warrant for intervention. And that was something that would be totally like doctor viewed. But what I see a lot is you could take that statement and stretch it as far as it could go to justify the craziest things. Like it's with, and I see a lot in training, a 50-year-old ex 900-pound squatter, complete, like real experience and respected in the space, will make a video and he's training now still. And he's been training for 40 years or 35 years. And he'll say, you know, right now it's back squats. They're just not the reward to risk to reward ratio. It's not there. It's too much on my lower back. My knees they've been kind of worn. Like so for me, I've got to stick to more like lighter leg press and, you know, just more kind of stable movements. And that's backed by his situation. And someone who is kind of starting a little earlier in the gym, they might have an awesome like grasp of everything, will hear that. And then that's an easy argument to say, well, this guy said you don't even need to squat. I'm not squatting. Dude, squats, like not even an acceptance of like, I don't want to squat. That's why I don't do it. But just this, you know, trying to bring the bar down to their level of like, well, I'm not willing to squat. I don't want to do it. If I can justify why I don't need to do it, then actually I'm not skipping anything. I'm doing it right by doing less.
What's the line? What's the linkage or analogy between that and the bloods?
Yeah, well, it's just because then somebody could say, oh, you know, my test was probably super low anyway. They didn't even get a test. Somebody could say, it's like, you know, I was looking at WebMD and it's like so I don't bring that up as much, but the normalcy and like the kind of the conditioned of just like, that's not a big deal. Like that's not something I'm
Let me give you this. Let me give you this. According to the American Urological Association, 25% of patients on TRT never had their testosterone checked. 1/3 weren't even deficient. I saw that last week.
But what's the age demographic? Because if that's still like what somebody would conventionally say a normal age to be, like a 35 above, I think that's a much different situation than anything earlier. Because you're literally still a developing dude, you know, like that is a.
Yeah, something definitely happened. Yeah, Art's heart exploded and he went headfirst in the pool. Fortunately, he was probably already dead before he went into the pool, but yeah, that happens.
The thing that you.
But if you looked at Art Atwood in his final days, he did not look very good. He was all purple and stuff. He was sort of like Don Youngblood. You could tell that his heart was failing and it wasn't pumping much blood.
You're messing with which is not just like, it's just, whatever.
This episode is brought to you by Momentous.
I don't care who it was brought by. I don't give a damn who it was brought by. We're going on to the next video. Yeah, I think he has really bad skin, but something else happened to him to be talking like that there, I mean, something else happened to him. I'm not sure what it was, but when I hear people talk like that, that means he had some sort of medical scare of some type.
Sitting here and a legend rolls up, Fresh.
How you been, bro?
Everyone wonders, like, who's fresh and who's fit? I mean, what the fuck,
No, bro, let's go.
Hey, biggest.
Let's get it, bro.
Gotta get Alfonso on your podcast.
I know, bro.
Speed. His level of elite clients is crazy. He works for everybody. He works for Tate, your boy.
Yeah, no,
The fresh and fit lames are now in the AMU in the Alpha Male universe. Like, didn't that guy like clap some big old Chinese cheeks, like some big old BBL cheeks, and now he has like a kid on the way? I don't even know what's going on with that, right? But that guy's a total goober lame. We'll eventually make a video on him. Well, Wes Watson, right? Your favorite superstar in the AMU in the Alpha Male universe. The situation just keeps getting crazier, and the Bubba YouTube channel is here to bring you all of the juicy cheese, man. But I have to announce something, guys. Everybody went hands on deck, coming out hard in support of the big JB, John Bravo. And I have good news to announce. His channel is back, has been reinstated, the community strikes have been taken away, and man, it is just gonna get worse and crazier for these alpha lames that try to silence us. So I wanted to announce that.
Yeah. Now that Bravo's back, he is going to go hard on Wes Watson like no other.
Wanted to, kick off that
I fear for Wes Watson's safety.
bubbly champagne, non-alcoholic, whatever you prefer, right? In celebration of that with a roasting of your favorite AMU member, Wes Watson. So let's get in a flow state together. Let's get bubbly with it, and let's get this show on the road.
Either way, you guys are right, but you're not, because you ain't further than me. But whenever I say that the car payment is $65,000 a month, it is, you idiots. $2 million down, $65,000 a month. Now, is that good for your position? No, you're not online. You live at your grandma's house, you're money. But if you're trying to be someone online, it's way smarter to spend this much on a car than to spend 10 times that on ads that nobody buys from. I've never bought from a ad. I would never buy from a ad. Fuck your ad. This is a better ad, you stupid motherfucker. Wake the fuck up.
I may be misunderstanding what ownership means, right? Because this guy has bragged about how he owns like a $6 million Bugatti.
See, folks, here's the thing. All the money that Wes Watson has spent, he could have a nice house and a nice car and never have to pay another dime, literally. Even in Miami, but he chose not to do so.
And he's able to hoop at like 300 miles per hour like no other human can, like no other alfalfa can, right? And when I think of owning something, right, like owning something like that, that means you walked into the dealership and you put $5-6 million down and you bought that shit all in cash, or I don't know, whatever. I don't own a Bugatti. I don't hoop Bugattis, okay? But I would think that you own it, like a 100%. Maybe you disagree with me down in the comment section. It's always a conversation here in the Bubba Army, right? But the guy just said that he put $2 million down and now he's paying like $65,000 a month. I mean, yeah, I guess he owns it. I mean, honestly, I don't think he owns it. You could make the argument that he's renting it. I mean, who even knows how he got that $2 million in the first place? Because this guy's up to no good, hiring hackers to bring down John Bravo. So there's probably a whole scheme with that $2 million. The guy doesn't even own the car. I went through the whole conversation through my mind in real time in this video, and I've come to the conclusion that this lame, he doesn't own his car. He owns maybe a percentage of his car, but he doesn't own 100%. I mean, what a lame, right? Imagine flexing that all day, every day. You don't even own it, you lame.
I know you guys think it's super tough to like win a fight, because a lot of you guys have never even been one. I've been in prison, I've been fighting my whole life, and I don't feel good when I hurt someone ever. So pay attention to that. I don't feel good when I hurt someone ever. I never felt good about it. And every time someone got hurt, it wasn't me. But the fact is that you guys keep talking about fighting. If we fought and I lost, you'd have the worst problem on your hands ever. Because I'm a sore fucking loser. I will not let you beat me, okay? Oh my God, if you beat me in front of my people, oh my fuck, dude.
Well, he's doubling down that he would ultimately win at the end of the day, even if his ass got beaten, even if his ass got... Oh, okay, hold up, never mind. All right, moving on. Ian, I don't know, maybe something like that. Well, okay, so, right, I don't understand why this guy continues to wear these silly, like, Walmart glasses that, like, some soccer mom you would see walk around in. I mean, it's the goofiest thing ever.
Yeah, those glasses look kind of cheap, and so does that jewelry. The jewelry doesn't even look right, to be honest with you.
I don't even understand why it's a flex. Like,
yeah, Diesel, just a straight-up snowflake.
if you lose the fight and then you're gonna pull out a piece and just blast him. I don't understand how that's a flex. Like, literally anybody can do that. This is the most dorky, cornball, goofball, gumball, whatever ball word you want to use type of talk. I mean, this guy, right? Dubs can verify this. It was known to get beat silly in prison. There's even a Wes Watson video that he was like complaining about how he would get like beaten up every single day, and he would cry to his little mommy about it, and then, you know, maybe step on the death dot or something like that. But yeah, like, it's literally on record about him getting his ass beat in prison. I just don't, like, I'm not like so, like, I don't know, an expertise or whatever in the whole prison game shit, but I leave that up to Dubs. But I'm pretty sure, maybe you can comment down below, Dubs, you're watching this video, how much of a bullshit story is of how he's a great fighter. And what's even more silly is that this guy's being chauffeured around by Crowned Jose, right? That guy's getting cream pied on the daily by Wes Watson. And I actually saw a clip by, I'm not by Crowned Jose, but you know what? You're going to see Crowned Jose in the video, and you're going to laugh your ass off.
I don't create posts. I don't pre-think them. I go out, I'm trying to make a post. It turns into that. Why? Why? What does it mean to you? Does it get you thinking? What is it? What the fuck makes a man sit in his car, have no agenda for a post, and come up with that? That was my rendition of a man selling his soul. Did I? Did someone else? Am I telling you to look at something more? Am I telling you to just keep yours?
Okay, right. I mean, this clip's a legendary one. There's so much to talk about, right? But I want to immediately pinpoint how Crown Cream Pied Jose, he's like a butler. I'm not even exaggerating this shit. He's actually sweeping. You were able to hear the sweeping that this guy's doing in this grown-ass man's house. I mean, this whole like Crowned Jose arc that has somehow like found its way into the Wes Watson world, the AMU, the Alpha Male universe. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you have full grown men who are prideful. They're bragging to the world that they get to be Wes Watson's maid. I mean, this is why people come to the channel and watch this stuff. It's like reality TV, TLC, but it's real. I mean, I'm literally at a loss of words. I'm stuttering. I'm mumbling like a fool because I can't comprehend that a man would volunteer himself to be a maid for a swole cow, for a low cow. I mean, it is shocking. I'm honestly happy that Jose has been introduced to this whole shenanigans.
It's no different than the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. People think that if they hang around a certain person, they're going to be just as wealthy and just as famous as they are. And the only problem is Wes isn't wealthy or really famous here. So
in this AMU stuff,
it's all what I call fake flex, which is what people are finding out now. So
because it just makes it that more entertaining. And then we didn't even talk about the fact that Wes Watson's implying that he sold his soul to the devil. I mean, look at this photo. I mean, this shit is just ridiculous. I mean, honestly. And you know what? It keeps getting crazier and crazier.
Thing that I do often with my people, which is a big problem, which is arguing. I mean, because you have two choices. Either the people under you obey and they follow suit, or you have to continually prove your point. If someone who is under you in the chain of command keeps arguing, they have to go. I mean, I would never argue with someone massively above me. How stupid would that be? I'm on a guy's $300 million yacht. I'm like, that's not how it works, bro. That's basically how these fucking idiots are. And the women and everyone. Like, bitch, you've done nothing. What the fuck are you arguing with? It's like me being on the guy's $300 million yacht and saying, you don't know what you're doing, bro. You don't know what you're doing. How stupid would I look? Wes, you're not on his level. Shut the fuck up.
Narcissism out of control, right? We all know that. And that's boring to talk about. However, why does this clip matter? Why are we watching it currently in the AMU? Well, recently, Jack Doherty's stream, because that guy is now part of the AMU too, right? Everybody, your mom's part of the AMU, everybody, right? Well, hopefully your mom's not.
I still can't get why this Jack Doherty person is hanging around someone like Wes Watson. I don't get that association because Jack Doherty is not a... I mean, they do completely two different things. Jack Doherty is basically a twink pimp, and Wes Watson is some sort of what he calls a fitness influencer. I just can't see. I don't even see how those two actually got together.
Part of it, right? But Jack Doherty and Wes Watson, they teamed up and they made this crazy ass stream. I don't know, on Kick or Orange, or I don't even know what these streaming websites are called anymore, right? I think it was Party, yeah. And he crashed out on Remedial Rob, and they had this big fight, this big scuffle, okay? So for Wes Watson, because he's the top alfalfa in the chain of command, right? Well, when Remedial Rob disrespected him, that was a big no-no. And Wes Watson is a total lame. He always has to, like, subtweet people. He never, like, talks directly. However, he's trying to confuse people. He said this recently about Remedial Rob.
The fuck? Are we still friends? What do you think? I'm fucking some little bitch? Dude, you guys, me and Rob are family, not friends. Big Rob, what's up? Back tomorrow.
Family, not friends. Well, I'm pretty sure this lame was saying that Angie was his wife, and now she's taking the British Broadcasting Corporation, right? Stretched to the absolute max. Well, yeah, I don't believe it. Okay, he always does this bullshit where he tries to change the narrative and say, no, guys, my wife's still here. My friend is still here. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody's seen Rob hang out with Wes Watson, but I wouldn't be shocked that after he watches this video, because he watches all of our videos, right? And if Rob showed up, I wouldn't be shocked, right? And then we'll all laugh our asses off, and there'll probably be some weird tension between the two. And yeah, I don't know. So the AMU, it's going pretty crazy. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. You were entertained by it. I know that the video quality is pretty trash, pretty low, but fortunately we don't have wind destroying your ear this time.
Oh boy. A lot of people making money off of Wes Watson. I need to start doing that myself, to be honest with you. I mean, I really do.
All right, we are going to start off with Drake. Drake is first up on PTL. Hello, Drake.
Hey, I'm a Trump supporter down here in Florida, and yeah, Charlie Kirk, what happened? I mean, I just don't think it's one of those things that you just move on from. You know, it's like we're gonna have to mourn.
We don't have to mourn. Why do you say we all have to mourn?
We lost. He was like a Martin Luther King of the modern generation.
Oh my God. Okay, so Drake, so Drake, that's your opinion. I completely disagree with you. If you would like to mourn a guy who defended white supremacy, a guy who literally joked around after Paul Pelosi's attempted murder,
spoke bad about black women, spoke bad about black pilots, spoke
Drake,
bad about black teachers. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, so Drake, if you want to look at him as some sort of martyr or hero, I couldn't disagree with you more, but let me be very clear. We are not mourning. If you would like to mourn, you can go ahead and do that because it's the United States of America. You have the right to. But let me ask you a question. Do you think we should mourn somebody's death when they say empathy is a bad thing and that empathy is dangerous? Do you agree with that? Do you think empathy is dangerous?
Who said that?
Who do you think said
Charlie
that?
Kirk said it.
Who do you think said that?
Donald Trump?
No,
Charlie Kirk said it.
We're not talking about Donald Trump right now. You must have Trump derangement
Slow
syndrome.
it
We're talking
down a
about
little
Charlie
bit.
Kirk. Charlie Kirk said that. Did you think the Civil Rights Act was a bad thing?
It had its flaws.
It had its flaws, but do you think it was a bad thing?
It had its flaws. What flaw? It saved people
It
from
broke
slavery.
down
It
their
made
families.
it got rid of Jim Crow. It made it so that everyone was equal. What's wrong with that? Where's the problem with that?
So let me ask you a question. If Charlie Kirk was bludgeoned with a hammer and almost died, do you think it would be appropriate for me to go on the air next day and smile about it and ask my listeners to donate to the person who did the attack? Do you think that would be appropriate?
I mean, it's America. You have the freedom.
Didn't ask you. The question wasn't about are you allowed to do it. I need you to focus on the question. Don't dodge it. if Charlie Kirk was bludgeoned with a hammer and almost died, if I went on the air the next day and smiled and asked my listeners, which I never would, to donate to the attacker's fund to get him out of jail, do you think that would be an appropriate thing to do? Yes or no?
Well, why are we getting into semantics?
This isn't semantics. Excuse me, sir. This isn't semantics. You're obviously not smart enough to understand why I'm asking you this question. So let me connect the MAGA dots for you, if I may, okay? Charlie Kirk went on the air the next day. I played the audio on this show. He smiled, he joked, and he wanted, in fact, he used the term hero for any of his listeners who donated money to the attempted murder of Paul Pelosi. That happened. This isn't semantics, and I'm not bringing up a hypothetical. Charlie Kirk did that. Now, I know you're a coward because you don't want to answer my question, but you are calling that person who you are mourning the person who did that.
Damn.
So I ask you now for a third time. Do you think that was appropriate? And I will ask you now, Charlie Kirk. Do you think it was appropriate for him to do that? Would a good person do that?
It was done in satire.
No, actually, it wasn't done in satire because there were people that actually did donate money to the guy who, by the way, was convicted of attempting to murder Paul Pelosi. So, no, that was not satire. Charlie Kirk was being...
Yeah, that wasn't satire. I think he didn't expect what... I don't think Charlie Kirk expected the reaction he would get, but that's not exactly something you want to do. Remember, folks, if it bends, it's funny, and if it breaks, it's not funny. Whoops, wrong one.
Serious about it. And that is a given fact. And you can go back and you can listen to the audio yourself. He said people like Michelle Obama, black women like Michelle Obama and others, don't have the mental capacity to be taken seriously. Do you agree?
With what, the Pelosi or the Michelle Obama?
No, the fact that he talks about black women in a disparaging manner and saying that the only way they get promoted or get a spot is not because of their competency and how smart and how sharp they are and how educated. It's because a spot was open, became open from a white man, and that's how they got their promotion and their spot. That's what Charlie Kirk said. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said.
I'll make it easier for Drake.
You agree with that?
I'll make it easier for Drake. I think he's going to embarrass
himself. Say that about Big Mike.
Okay, Drake, let's try to focus here for a moment. Who do you think was more intelligent, the person who got a Harvard-educated law degree or the guy who dropped out of college after 6 months?
Chuck E. Cheese, nothing pisses off black folks more than people messing with the black women. You don't go and mess with the black women, all right? You just don't.
Of community college. Who do you think is smarter?
He was an activist. That's why he dropped.
You don't mess with the sisters.
The question wasn't whether he was an activist or not. I need you to focus on the question. I'll make it specific. Michelle Obama got a college degree and got her law degree from Harvard, a black woman who made it in America. Charlie Kirk was given boatloads of money from funding from far right-wing lunatics, and he is known for not debating and being a great debater from people his age or older, but from debating a bunch of unprepared people like you, people that are 18 and 19 years old on college campuses. So I ask you again, who do you think was more educated and more intelligent, Michelle Obama or Charlie Kirk?
What was she educated in?
I just told you. Do I stutter? I just told you. I'm not going to repeat it again. Why don't you answer the question?
He needs a Starbucks or something.
Why don't you answer the question?
I have a coffee right here. I'm like that.
Well, you need to drink it down.
Okay.
You need to drink it down, Drake, because you're having trouble keeping up with the conversation, which we would welcome you. We want you to keep up with the conversation. We want you to tell us why you think educated black women are not equal to somebody who has limited education and does nothing but spread hate and division. We want to know why you think he's better. That's what we're asking.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, you voted for him, right?
Not Charlie Kirk.
You voted for Trump, right? I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I have 3.
Chuck E. Cheese, I've heard Charlie Kirk stuff there. No, that definitely wasn't propaganda. He said a bunch of stuff he should not have said. You don't mess with the sisters. You just don't.
I'm never wrong.
I don't care if you
I'm
have
never wrong.
I don't care if you have 100 college degrees. Okay, if you voted for Donald Trump, I disagree with you. And the fact of the matter is that he's embarrassing this country every day. I'm not going to sit there and mourn for Charlie Kirk. I'm sorry it happened to him. I feel for his family.
Can't
but
tell
you know
someone
what?
who to mourn for.
Yeah. First of all, this is America. If you don't want to mourn for somebody, guess what? You don't have to. The day after Rush Limbaugh passed away from cancer, I wasn't sad at all because he was a bad guy who did a lot of bad things. Now, but that was different circumstance. Rush Limbaugh was not murdered, but.
I mean, Chuck E. Cheese, he called into a radio station. I mean, you're going to get what you get. It's like when these college students, Chuck E. Cheese, go to Charlie Kirk, who have absolutely no debate experience. Someone like Charlie Kirk can tear them to pieces. And this is pretty much the exact same thing that's happening. So I'm not surprised at all. Yeah, they're going to overtalk him. They're basically wrecking him, in other words, because he just wasn't prepared.
By somebody. Okay, he died of cancer. Charlie Kirk was murdered. It was a horrible thing, but I ain't sitting here mourning. Okay, I'm not going to be mourning for somebody that I think was a bad human being. I wish it didn't happen to him. It was horrible. So Drake, you can go ahead and you can mourn. Let me ask you a question. When it was announced that Joe Biden got cancer, what was your first reaction to that?
I thought it was pretty sad. I mean, he didn't have much of a life outside of being president. He's probably pretty sick already.
Do you know anything about this, Drake? Do you know anything? He had an amazing
What are you
life,
talking about?
Absolutely amazing. He was in the Senate for 50 years, I think.
I mean post-presidential. I don't mean in general. I mean like after he worked so hard as president and he gets sick.
What do you mean? What do you mean post-presidential? What?
I mean,
what's your knowledge?
I mean, he doesn't. He just doesn't have much time to retire and be healthy. He just had a life full of.
He's in his early 80s. He's in his early 80s.
No, but he's sick though. The guy's sick. I feel bad.
Okay, so doctor, so doctor, I'm glad for your compassion, doctor. Can you tell me what you found in Joe Biden's physical? What did you find, doctor?
I know he got diagnosed.
What are your medical? What are your medical credentials?
I'm not a doctor.
You're not a doctor. Okay, thank you. Thank you for admitting that. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm glad that's the answer that I was trying to get from you to see if you had any compassion. But to say that he didn't have. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. But you're not a doctor. I'm not a doctor, and many people like you seem to diagnose him with Alzheimer's. He's got this. He's got that. But yet you don't want to talk about Donald Trump and his mental capacity.
You know what the difference is, Brian? Really, I mourned for Jimmy Carter. I happen to like Jimmy Carter. I think he was an awesome president. But you know what? You and I don't do. We don't call people up or confront people and tell them you should be mourning for Jimmy Carter.
No, it's absurd.
How ridiculous, how presumptive is that?
But Leonard, it's the same people that preach about Christian white nationalism they're right and everybody else is wrong.
Like Riley?
Yeah, the religious zealots out there and the Bible thumpers that want to tell you what to do. They want to tell you how to think.
How about love thy neighbor?
Yeah,
Ever hear that?
But yet,
how about your brother's keeper? Ever hear that?
But yet, I agree. But yet, these are the same people that say we're indoctrinating people. The teachers are indoctrinating people. Give me a freaking break. So Drake, thank you for the phone call. But I mean, you go ahead and you could go on your knees every day and wear the Charlie Kirk knee pads.
Go worship Charlie Kirk.
Go
Who
ahead.
cares?
Go ahead and go to
No
his
one cares.
grave site and with your MAGA gear. You're welcome to do that if you'd like to, but you're not somebody that I would hang out with. That's for sure. All right,
I mean, they're pulling the same technique Charlie Kirk did, Chuck E. Cheese. It was kind of minty, though. But, I mean, he just wasn't prepared. He's not someone that can debate. Now, if I was on the show, I would tear both of those people to pieces here. You know, he's just not quick on his feet there. He's not used to debating. You know, after my experience with debating with other people, whether it was on RX Muscle, Derek Anthony, Vegan Gains, you know, and stuff like that, you know, I got plenty of debate experience, you know. What they basically did is the same thing Charlie Kirk did there, Chuck E. Cheese. And, I mean, it's okay. I mean, when you call into a show, you get what you get.
At least some of the time.
Oh, God, if Dubs called into the show and he started saying that, they would cut him off immediately. They would.
I inject testosterone straight into my dick vein. It made it grow to 777 inches. Please watch.
Burgers for breakfast. Getting the nutrients in animal foods, especially meat and organs, first thing in the morning, it turns your brain.
Oh, look, it's Dr. Paul Saladino. Let's see what he's up to today.
On the proteins, the amino acids in those proteins, the micronutrients.
All right. I think it's time we talked about those prison stats. First off, Chuck E. Cheese, the stats weren't in the 40s. It was right around 34, 35%. But I'm going to be honest with you, Chuck E. Cheese, it doesn't matter whether the stats were 30%, 20%, or 10%, or even 8%. There would still be way more black people and other minorities in prison than white folks. The reason being is on the federal government website, there's a big notice down there as far as to sentencing guidelines. And historically speaking, minorities get longer prison sentences than white folks by about at least 3 years. Not only that, black minorities are less likely to get parole as well. And that's a major stat that you got to look into, not just percentage-wise, but how long someone's getting sentenced there. So, generally speaking, a white person that commits a crime and gets 2 years, a black person or Mexican will commit the same thing and they'll end up getting 5 years, in other words. So it's not just about percentages, it's all about sentencing. Minorities generally get longer sentencing. That's why I tell my nephews, stay your ass out of trouble. You're going to get a longer prison sentence than the white person because, and these are government stats, Kaizen. These are government stats. They're at the bottom, but a lot of times these people will conveniently leave this stuff out. They'll leave out the fact that minorities get sentenced to a lot longer time there. And folks, I was a corrections officer, I know. You know, we had that little computer and we can look at people getting sentenced and stuff. So it doesn't matter if they have priors or not. There's a person there that got into a car accident and, you know, he killed like 5 people from drunk driving. And they literally gave him probation. And he kept drinking again and he ran to Mexico. And then he finally got sentenced to 1 year. Now, imagine if a black person went and ran down and killed 5 people. Do you think he would get probation? I've just never seen that before. No, not crowding there, Chuck E. Cheese. Not crowding. No, it's statistically true. So the percentages really don't matter that much. It's all about the sentencing guidelines. Everyone should get sentenced equally. If you commit the crime, you should do the time. And you shouldn't be let out early neither. I hate this cashless bail and getting let out early and getting this parole and stuff, because we let a lot of dangerous characters back on the street, Chuck E. Cheese, but everyone should get sentenced equally. Everything should be weighed out, priors and everything like that. But it just isn't. And, what it is what it is there. It's just that minorities get sentenced to longer prison sentences. That's why, again, I tell my nephew, stay out of trouble. You're going to get a longer sentence than a white person, Well, that's the thing, Chuck E. Cheese. Even people with repeat offenses there, they still get less time than a black person with the first offense. Check the government sites here. It says it along with the percentages of blacks in jail or minorities. All that's there. But they leave out the details that's also on that website. It says there's always a but to it there. Minorities just get sentenced to longer sentences. That's their fucking fault. You committed the crime. You should know that you're going to get a longer sentence here, But it is what it is here.
Vitamin K2, choline.
Burgers do not have much vitamin K2 or choline.
Chuck E. Cheese, it's never going to be fair. Money talks and bullshit walks. That's another thing. Wealthy people get off quicker than anyone else here as well. If you got money, you're going to get out of prison earlier. You're going to have the resources to get out earlier.
I think that they literally have 0 K2.
Iron, B12, all of these nutrients in animal meat and organs, first thing in the morning, that is the best way to start your day for breakfast. And if you want to...
You know how I start my day? I inject test right into my fucking shoulders. And guess what? I'm not a skinny, pencil neck, weak little prick like you. So yeah, while this weak beta male is talking about, I eat burgers in the morning, that's how I start my day, because I get all the nutrients my brain needs. Yeah, guess what I do? Fucking testosterone, you fucking beta male. Yeah, right. Paul looks like that, I look like this, so fuck you. My morning routine's better than yours, pussy.
Want to make it even better? Add a little bit of raw liver. Burgers.
Yeah, but cousin, you're taking a whole lot more stuff than he is.
Liver. That's how to start your day.
Fucking loser.
You need...
Yeah, cashless bail is just crazy.
more vitamin
literally.
D. Like 42% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D.
Cashless bail is just stupid. What good is it to arrest someone where they're going to get cashless bail? It's a revolving door. They literally walk in, they get booked, and then they go out in like a couple of hours. And usually they'll go and commit the same crime again. It's ridiculous.
Increase vitamin D naturally. Number one, this is going to blow your mind, I know. Sunlight.
Or you could take a vitamin D supplement so you don't damage your skin with UV radiation.
Sunlight increases vitamin D for most of us in most of the world. In certain parts of the world, you're too high, you're too far from the equator, and you're not going to get vitamin D. But for most of us, when we're outside, this is the way to get most of our vitamin D. Full spectrum light outside, ultraviolet, but also infrared. And the infrared probably helps any of the potential negative effects of the ultraviolet.
No. That is not how that works, you fucking idiot.
Full spectrum sunlight is like a whole food. Indoor light is like processed food. Number two, fatty fish. Lots of vitamin D in fatty fish, but watch out for heavy metals. Number three, egg yolks. Number four, raw milk has vitamin D. And number five, liver has vitamin D. So eating those foods, which are all good for you, just watch the heavy metals in the fish, and being outside in the sun, that's how you increase your vitamin D naturally. Vitamin D is associated with all sorts of beneficial effects in humans: higher testosterone, fertility, libido.
Yeah, guess what increases your testosterone? Injecting testosterone. I haven't gotten my lab work back.
See, ever since my cousin's been injecting, has been doing the juice. I've been watching some of my cousin's videos, and he's He's on the juice, and now he realizes that he looks bigger and better, and he's showing it off too. Rightfully so. I mean, he's and stuff, but
Back yet? I took blood a couple days ago, but I can guarantee you, after injecting test every day for the last month and a half, my testosterone is going to be higher than his. I should get it back by tomorrow, but yeah, this is just all fucking stupid.
So, bone health, muscle recovery.
Like, look at his shoulders compared to mine. Like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like he's so small and weak, and we've seen his workouts. He works out like a fucking pussy.
You're on steroids and he isn't.
He avoids even lifting weights. He just does like push-ups and shit because he's afraid of lifting heavy and I might hurt myself. Because yeah, your fucking carnivore diet is making your bones and joints and shit so fucking brittle. And then he's yapping about I go out in the sun and burn my skin so I get enough vitamin D so I can make testosterone. Yeah, how much is that really doing for you, huh, buddy? So, here's me, vegan diet, and steroids, and there's you, weak, small, and frail. So, yeah, I wonder what strategy works best. Burning your skin in near the equator so that you can get vitamin D, or not being a retard, maximizing your testosterone levels by injecting testosterone, and eating a sensible fucking diet.
Libido, bone health, muscle recovery, mental performance, sleep. Get your vitamin D, guys. Preferably get it naturally, and those are ways to do it.
What a dork. Thanks for the donation.
Exactly, Chuck E. Cheese. He has that steroid confidence. I will tell you right now, this has been the most mintiest and yet sometimes the most saddest year ever. 2025 is going to go down in history, folks.
The more money you have, the more your language changes, right? When you're rich, you don't go places, you're escorted. When you're rich, you don't pay for work, you pay for services. When you're rich, you don't have home or apartments, you have units. And when you're rich, you don't say a prostitute went down on me, you say an escort serviced my unit. So, oh yeah. He doesn't want to show it, but he agrees. No, we're doing good. This is like the Queen's Guard. They're not supposed to tell me how funny it is. The more money you have, the more your language changes, right? When you're
Well, I already knew this type of talk would happen there, He's getting a lot more bolder as far as to what he's saying, and he knows.
One of the things that I'm a stickler on is what do your wheels look like? You gotta have some legs. Listen, I'm okay with physique and I love physique, but I love a full package too. I never will forget when I first visit World's Gym and you had Joe Gold there. I mean, Joe Gold was like one of the godfathers of bodybuilding because he created World's and Gold's Gym. I never will forget as I came in for the first time at World's Gym, California, Eddie Giuliano was standing there and he said, Joe, come out of the office, check out this young kid. So Joe walked around the circle and he watched me and he said, pull up your pants leg, kid. So I pulled my pants leg up and he looked and said, you're going places. He didn't give a crap about what he saw up top because everybody got something up top. If you don't have wheels, you don't make it in the sport of bodybuilding.
Lower body, you got a problem building your lower body. You got an upper lower body, you got the upper body.
Oh, we got some Genova stuff right here.
It's hard to build the upper body. If you have the lower body, it's hard to build the upper body. If you have the upper body, it's hard to build lower. So lower helps.
Of course it helps. You got to be well-rounded, man.
I am well-rounded. I got solid density. So that's the good thing. I'm dense. Most people aren't dense. So
now you just got to get ripped.
No, I just got to get ripped. Yeah, that's the goal. All right, like I said, you have the lower body and you have no upper body. You got a problem. You got a problem building. Wait a minute. You have an upper body and you have no legs. You have an upper body. You have no legs. You got a problem building the legs. You have an upper. You have the lower body, and you don't have the upper body. The upper body, it's easier to build. So if you have the lower body, and you don't have the upper body, it's easier to build the upper body. You have the upper body, and you don't have the legs. You got a problem building lower body. No, you don't understand. You have the upper body, but you don't have the lower body. You got a problem building downstairs. You got the legs on the bottom. It's easy to build the top.
Okay.
So you don't have much of the problem.
It cannot be any more crystal clear than that.
Yeah.
Sickening explanation. I feel like I was just punched in the face by Riddick Bowe.
Riddick Bowe.
And explain this theory of yours one more time. Slowly and clearly, because I'm afraid some of your fan buddies are going to be a little confused.
The judges look for one thing.
What?
The first thing they look for is your legs. You have legs and you have wheels.
Yeah.
That wins competitions. Legs win shows. And if you have the legs and you have no upper body, it's easier to build a top body. If you have the top body and you have no wheels, you have a nightmare of going pro. You have no wheels.
So you have wheels. How come you haven't won a show yet?
Because I'm not ripping them. That's why. I got a good leg development. I want to build my upper body. Everybody says, build your fucking upper body. Get it big.
Okay.
Body and lower body. If you got a big upper body than your lower body.
Well, if you have the...
Trying to get me.
If you have the lower body...
Oh, no.
If you have the lower body, it's easier to build. If you have the lower body...
Dude, I just woke up. I don't want to have an aneurysm.
Well, just let me say, if you have
Please don't explain that shit again.
lower body, it's easier to build a top body. You have a upper body and no legs, you got a problem.
It's too early in the morning for your sickening bro science.
Here we go.
I'm like half asleep right now.
All right, let's do this.
He should. But I like Andrew. Andrew's alright. He's a good guy.
I'm retarded?
That is straight up mean. But yeah, getting back to things there, Chuck E. Cheese. You see, I don't believe in I don't believe in justice reform or prison reform or anything like that. You know, regardless as to the sentence there, I mean, these are still dirtbags, you know. Okay, they got sentenced higher than a white person, but they're still dirtbags. They're criminals. They're people who have robbed, raped, murdered people and stuff like that. Why am I going to get mad because a black person that rapes a woman gets 20 years, whereas a white person gets 10 years for raping a woman? They're still dirtbags. They're still rapists, you know? Why am I going to go and spend time arguing about why did the black person get more time than the white person for raping someone? Why do I care? Why would I care? The black guy's a dirtbag. I am not going to argue for a rapist, literally speaking. That's why I don't really care so much as far as the statistics are concerned. I understand that I was a corrections officer. I know why there's more black people in prison, but at the same time, they're supposed to be in prison. Regardless as to whether the time that they got was more than a white person, the point being is they belong in prison. I'm not going to argue for a rapist or a robber or a drug dealer or anything else. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't matter if they got priors to it. They're a big deal. I mean, the truth of the matter is black people, minorities get higher sentences and less likely to get paroled, but at the end of the day, they're still dirtbags. So I am not going to go and defend them at all there. I mean, it's stupid. I don't, like I said, I don't defend criminals. You know? Too bad if they get, I mean, seriously, I would have to, when it comes to prison reform, the only reform I'm referring to is people that were wrongfully convicted, but that's gone but you know, a lot of those cases, those are for people that got convicted back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Nowadays, you have things like DNA evidence to where that stuff is all the thing of the past. You don't need to collaborate with witnesses. You just need DNA evidence. Yeah, it's just not rocket science. I'm just not going to go and defend a rapist. Who gives a shit if they got 10 more years than a white person? They're still a rapist. They should get life without parole. And cashless bails? What? That is the cashless bail, Chuck E. Cheese and KCB. It is the most ridiculous thing ever. I mean, I'm glad I'm not an officer anymore. I would be so pissed to spend all this time arresting someone, and then they just go through literally a revolving door, and now it's legal for them to actually do this type of stuff. You know? Know what I mean? So don't expect me to put up too much of a fight in terms of, you know, the reason why there's so many black people compared to white people. My only question is, did they commit the crime? That's all that matters. Did they do what they did in order to get themselves there to begin with? If they did, fine. I don't care how much time you get, you know? I really don't. That's just my whole thing there. The cashless bail has to stop. That's just crazy. That's just stupid. I don't know why people do that to themselves. Hang tight with me for a minute. I'll be right back. Oh boy. Sorry about that, folks. Do I have to recommend nothing but Judge Boyd videos for a month to show you how black people act in court? KCB, I was a corrections officer. I know how Negroes act in court. I know how white people act in court. I mean, you get a mixed box of things here. I mean, I've taken white people up to the judge whenever I book them in the intake and stuff like that. Some of them just act all out there. I had one actually spit on the screen of the judge is behind glass basically, or you know, and stuff like that. So, but I've seen white people spit on the glass as well there. You know, black folks, my people, they can be very colorful in court. Need to work on their behavior. No, I'm not at all. It's just experience here. You've never worked in a prison before. You've never worked in a jail there, KCB. I mean, my whole thing is I know why there's more black people in prison than a white person, but that's not my main concern. My main concern is the only type of reform I believe in is making sure that people who are falsely convicted are not in prison. That's it. if a rapist like I said before, if a murderer or rapist gets a higher sentence than a white person because of race, they're still a dirtbag. They're still a rapist and murderer at the end of the day. So why am I going to give a shit? I should be, you know what I should be arguing for? I argue for the victims of that person that did the crime to begin with. I'm their advocate. I'm the victim's advocate, not the criminal advocate. Exactly, that's true. That's why I always tell my nephew, shut the fuck up whenever you get pulled over. Hand them your ID, hand them this and that, and just be on your way. If you need to make an argument after you've gotten past the situation there. Just don't go and start anything at all whatsoever. Just shut up. Just shut the hell up. But you know what? They don't listen. Some people are just hard-headed. Yep, hands on 10 and 12 there. But you know, the good thing about it is, Chuck E. Cheese, that we're able to have a general conversation about these whole things equitably. That's what I like about America. When you have a general discussion about these equitably, I mean, you grow a lot more, you know. Some people learn things new and everything like that. But again, folks, I'm not someone that cares about prison reform. If you committed the crime, I really don't give a shit how long of a sentence you get. Okay? I just really don't. Do the crime, pay whatever time you get. Oh boy. I just want to play one more video. Just one more. We're going to do something nice and short. But folks, while I'm queuing a video up here, please be sure to get your questions in. If you wish to make a donation, you can. Smash the like button. And subscribe. Is there a filter or something? Jeez. Oh, I got a better idea. Yeah, I meant to show this the other day. I always get a laugh out of this here.
Who gonna clause the real? Is that the real? I mean, it's so hard to tell anymore because there's so many accounts that say, you know, the same guy's name or the real, and it's you know, because the guy doesn't have the real, so somebody gets the real, and it sounds like I will go live with anyone. Got caught up in one attempted murder charge, and so I do remember that, Mikey. Me and you talked about that a lot. I felt bad for you because if you would have went to jail, I would have had to come all the way over there and visit you. I think so. Oh, all right. Anybody's welcome. Hey, Knock, what's up? What's up?
No, Eric, just shut up, take your ticket, argue about it at a later time when you're alive. Don't catch a beat down for nothing.
Let's go live. I guess we're gonna find out if that is in fact the real Big Rob Fitness, not a fake account. Throw a request in. Let's go, man. Nobody gets turned down on this program. It would just be odd after the crazy fucking 24 plus hours I just had. It was real. It is real. It's real, goddammit! Fed my dick cheese to my wife. Dick cheese. Make Mr. Fake Profit Muscle look America. Oh, yeah, the fucking America. Is it Rob? Well, the real Big Rob Fitness, please stand. Oh, my God, to tell the truth.
How are you, Joe?
Rob, how have you been?
I truly care about you, and I remember...
Oh, this isn't the one. Hold on. Hold on, where's that other one? There it is. Is this it?
So let's see if it is, because I think that is the real Big Rob. By the Avatar. What's up, Sleepy Dog? How the hell are you, bro? It is he, the real. Not a fake account.
Why did you send me the thing on to put on Muslims and Arabs when the guy...
No, that's not it. What is going on today? I swear. I am... But if you shut up the court, see it as an agreement, you have to call the off. Eric, you do what you gotta do, man. I'm telling you right now, don't argue with that whole situation here.
Few requests.
Maybe this one's it. I think this one's it.
I got Kenny and... Oh, I think we're gonna be invited by somebody that was surprised that we're gonna be invited by.
Yeah, this one's it. A little blurry, but...
Hey, Joe!
He's just not going to say
Joe,
anything.
Did you hear me? I'm here.
Loud and clear.
How's your family? How's your parents doing? I hope they're doing okay. Okay? So, what is going on now? You're saying I'm saying stuff about your family, and you're calling me a sand nigger. What's that? And you weren't spelling right. Were you in your right state of mind? So you're calling this Ron Harris a racist, and you're calling me a sand nigger. Who's a racist? That's right. Don't say nothing. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your mouth shut. That's exactly what I want you to do. You're a coward. You're a sissy. You're a coward. You knock on my door and run. What a coward. You are a coward. You're a racist. Are you jealous because I have more than you? Are you what are you jealous of, Joe? What are you jealous of? Don't say nothing. That's right. You can't say nothing. You can't defend yourself. For what you did, you're going to lose all your sponsors. You're going to lose all the companies that do they know that you're calling me a sand nigger for no reason? Good. Do they know? Why would you call me that? 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 I'm happy. I hope you have every sponsor in the world. Why would you call me that? Why would you say I said anything about your wife? Why would you lie? Why would you say I said anything about your wife? Why would you lie, Joe? Why would you lie? You can't say nothing. You can't defend yourself. For what you said, there's no excuse. That is truly a low life. You said I said something about your family. I didn't say shit about your family. You called me a sand nigger and did this Order 66. Wow, they call me. What a coward. You're a former policeman. You're a former policeman. You have nothing to say. Keep your mouth shut. You have nothing to say. You have nothing to say. You're a racist. You're jealous of Ron Harris. Ron Harris is the kindest, nicest person. He never said one thing. I never told you. You told me. You put up that thumbnail. You're the racist. You're the racist. Not Ron Harris. You are a racist. You called me a sand nigger. What is that? It doesn't make me anything. It doesn't make me welcome. I'm proud to be Arab American. Look at my house. Look at my wife. Look at my cars. Look at my life. Who are you? That's right, guys. See? He can't say shit. He can't say shit. You guys are going to follow this 5'7", 175-pound loser. This guy is a loser. He was a police officer that's harassing wife and kids. He's making threats to my wife and kids. Making threats to wife and kids. A policeman, a former policeman, a racist policeman that looks 70 years old. That's jealous of Ron Harris.
It's a lot more funny when it's fast.
You would not say that to my face. I guarantee it. You would not say nothing to my face. $25. That video's not going anywhere, my friend. You're ashamed. You're ashamed. You cannot say nothing. You cannot say nothing. You can't even spell. You were so intoxicated, and your painkillers that you're abusing after your surgery. You're abusing painkillers. They're fucking up your brain. You can't say nothing. You cannot say nothing. Just sit there and keep your mouth shut. You understand? We're going to be dealing with you, okay? We're going to be dealing with you. You. And don't lie. I never said nothing about your wife or anyone in your family. You're a liar. Ron Harris is racist? You're calling me a sand nigger? Ron Harris is racist? You're a coward. You're a coward. You're a failure. You get on the show talking about cocaine, sticking shit up your ass, your prostate. You're a sick man. Talking sick stuff about your personal life. What kind of man are you? You're not a man. You're a coward. You're a 5'7", 170-pound coward. You're a sissy. You're a sissy. So what are you going to do when you see me at the Arnold? Are you going to run? Are you going to run? Guys, he can't say nothing. He's a racist. He can't say nothing. He's jealous. This is why they've been ganging up on me, because I'm a successful Arab American. He can't say nothing. He can't say nothing. See? He can't defend himself. So you have nothing to say. That's right. I want you to sit there and keep your mouth shut. You understand me? Keep your mouth shut, little man. Or I'll shut it for you. I will shut it for you. Keep your mouth shut. You understand? You're so jealous of Ron Harris, you're going to pop, man. He told me he ignores you. You keep calling, sending him harassing, stupid messages. He's ignoring you. He's a big man. He works for MD. What do you do? What do you do? You call people, you're a racist. That's all you are. You made Ron Harris a racist. He never said shit about Arabs or anything. He's never said shit. All you did, you're the one. You can't even defend yourself. Man, I'm going to stay on YouTube and I'm going to make it to the top, little bitch. And when I see you at the Arnold, you better run. You coward. Did you used to take people to jail and keep their drug money and keep their drugs when you go in a... Of course you did. You're a bum. You're a bum. Someone to say the things you said and to lie will do anything. You will do anything. You're having me on your show. Big Rob is on your show. This is the last time you'll ever see me on your show. So, guys, this guy can't defend himself. He can't even write. Like others said, he's a hack writer or whatever. He doesn't know. That's why they fired him. That's why they fired him, okay? No one could stand him, okay? He was doing shit at work that the guy, I'm not going to get into it, but he's done a lot of bad shit, guys. You're a filthy person, Ron. I mean, Joe Patero. You're just so jealous, man. You're just so jealous. Why don't you show me you working out, or show me your house, or show me, instead of just talking about sticking shit up your ass. You're a man. You're a man. You're sick. Have some self-respect. There's kids watching, asshole. I don't want to ever hear you say anything like that. Last time, I'm warning you. You better clean up your act. If not, I'm going to see you soon. I'm going to see you at the Arnold. So you have nothing to say about the racist things you said and the lies you said that I said about. I don't even know your family. I wouldn't dare say anything about someone's family. Even if I knew them, because I'm a man, I don't do that. I don't do that bullshit. God forgive you for the things you did. God forgive you for the things you did. Anyone could get Jason Genova to order 66. So what? You just turn your phone off. Please keep it coming. Keep the publicity coming. You're a coward. You're a fake person. This is all going to catch up to you, Joe. Hasn't it? Haven't you been fired? Hasn't it caught up to you? Are you even making $4,000 a month off this? So guys, you come to this show to see this guy keep his mouth shut. You know why? Because he can't defend himself. There's no excuse. You have 100 viewers because of me. Because of me. The guy they love to hate, but they're just jealous haters, man. People don't like when they see Arabs doing well in this country. I'm doing fucking awesome, bro. I'm doing fucking, I've had so many businesses sold, made money, startup businesses sold them, made money. I do what I want, how I want, and when I want. What do you do? You were pretty messed up on Saturday. The things you were saying, that's pretty fucked up, man, to call me what you did. That's pretty fucked up. It doesn't affect me in any way, but it affects you. It's going to catch up to you, your reputation, whatever's left of it. Make it apply, saying I talk about your family. You're a fool. Make it up lies that I call the police on you. What kind of lie is this? Why would you lie about that? Let's see what time I have a meeting in a little bit. So he's not going to say nothing, guys. Case closed. He knows he's wrong. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is called giving someone rope. It's an interrogation technique that many people think that they could talk loud in the city can get
That stuff always makes me. All right, folks, we got 5 minutes left, or we got 10 minutes left, because I'm gonna hold it open since I was screwing with the delivery person for 5 minutes. 10 minutes left. Get your questions in. I don't know Rob is not really making videos anymore. He's just, I don't know what he's doing. Eric, I get where you're saying, but for me, I'm trying to stay alive like the Bee Gees, so I am not going to give the police officers any chance of putting a bullet in my head. And you know what? The sad thing is that despite that, I may still get a bullet in the head. But I'm not going to give them a reason. Sometimes it's just better. I mean, and folks, don't forget, I have Legal Shield. So I got plenty of attorneys that will take care of the situation after I get myself out of the situation. You know what I mean? Do what you got to do in a pullover. When you get pulled over by the cops, and folks, I've not been pulled over in years. I mean, literally, it's been years. I don't drive a car that attracts any attention. My tags are current. I know how to drive. I don't drive drunk or anything. But the thing about it is, if I got pulled over, folks, I'm going to do what I need to do so I don't get a bullet in my head. Seriously. Because, you know, when it comes to arguing with the cops, that can wait for later. And I don't argue. My attorneys argue. I just sit back and relax and eat popcorn and have my tuna fish sandwich, you know, or something. And that's another thing. I wouldn't be a person that would get caught with marijuana or any drugs or anything. Basically, I'm like London fog. You gotta limit your exposure. If you're driving correctly on the road, you're not driving drunk, you're not driving with a vehicle that attracts attention, I mean, folks, I drive a Buick LeSabre. I don't drive a sports car. I don't drive something that goes vroom, 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 vroom. You know? Yeah, Big Rob Fitness, he had some of the lamest videos. I mean, he hasn't shot a video in over 9 months. And he wasn't getting that many views for his efforts. So his channel just sits there. I don't even know how he got 7,000 subscribers. I mean, but that's just my mentality of things. I just let my attorneys argue things over that. I'm just going to get myself from getting shot. I mean, that's just it. Oh, we got 5 minutes left, so get your questions in. Since I was messing with the delivery person, like KCB says, I do owe you guys an extra 5 minutes. But that's just it. I mean, Eric, you handle your situation the way you want to handle it, but I definitely want, the thing about it is, make sure you handle it in a way to where I see you next week on my show. You get what I mean? Folks, I don't want anything happening to you guys for no reason. I mean, I really don't. Life is too short, folks, and I don't want you guys ending up on a mural or on the news saying they should, you know, because here's the thing, folks. A lot of times people have gotten shot for no reason or killed by the police wrongfully. Even though there's justice, I don't want you getting justice when you're still dead, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're still dead. So, if you want my advice, don't argue with the cops. And also dress flashy to the point to where if you dress and look like money, folks, and you look like you're capable of suing people, most of the time the cops will leave you alone. That's usually the way it is. Well, I mean, I'm not talking, I mean, it's free to ask questions there, but you know how some of these people are. You've seen those videos, you know, these auditors and stuff. Don't start doing these stupid auditor thingamabobs. You can get yourself in a world of hurt. But folks, 2 minutes left. Get your questions in. Oh boy. Weekend's coming up. And I gotta do something about that porch out there. What do you think, Dale? A porch dealing with a porch. Gotta do something about that. Pound Manhole asks questions later. That's true too. Some are just on a power trip and used to follow us 5 to 10 miles on our ass, so we make a mistake. Yeah, they got to fill those quotas, especially around the end of the month. Yeah, he got a little trim up. Yeah, Big Rob hasn't made a video in like 9 months. I don't even think his Instagram is up. But the thing about it, well, no, he took down his Instagram too. I think he's done with the internet. He realizes that people hate him and even God hates him. But folks, it is 12:05 p.m. That is another end to a great episode of the Midnight Run. Y'all be sure to tune in tomorrow for the Saturday Soul live stream. And I want to thank everyone who joined me, especially Quick Pump, Pugman, and everyone else that has contributed to the channel. I am out of here. And as always, peace and soul. And now, a word from the cassowary. The cassowary has spoken. Okay, peace out. Bye-bye.